And everybody's,
fucking rocking their hats. That's sweet. All right, everyone good? I'm just gonna fucking go right. Just fucking do it. I don't think this is gonna have any type of structure whatsoever. That's the idea.
I feel like the last bunch of them have had.
Yeah, we've been doing some pretty deep dives.
Not that there's anything bad with that, but
yeah, I didn't. Like, it's their rodeo. I'm just gonna go see what happens.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, so you can move that thing around, and you want it'll just be gentle with it. The more you move it, we're still working on a table. Have you heard from Tyler at all?
yeah, I was like, get my fucking table done, you bastard. He's like, oh, I've been working, blah, blah, blah. I was like, dude, if you can't do it, that's fine. Literally just tell me, and I was like, I'll figure it out.
But yeah, so this table is temporary, but the microphones don't clip onto it very well, so they're kind of a temporary deal. But wow, good.
It's tasty,
dude. I like those Costa Del Mars. Those glasses are sweet, man.
Oh yeah, they are. These are amazing, and I get them like every year.
Yeah,
because a good friend of ours, his brother has a charter.
Okay.
Down at Hilton Head.
Yep.
And so he's sponsored by them.
Oh,
nice. Shit.
So we get them all like a quarter of the cost, or he'll just have a couple pair laying around and he'll just give them to you.
Well, if you ever want to sell any extra ones, I'll take a pair.
I'll make
I'll
sure
buy a pair.
to.
Dude, everybody in South Carolina had those when I went to school down there.
Yeah.
So
you say Oakley's or Ray-Ban or something. They just
like
look
what?
at you.
Nah, Costas.
Try to keep that a little closer, about a hand width. Yeah, right there.
Something like that.
Yeah, but you can make yourself comfy and however you want to do it. How much are those glasses? Are they costly like Oakley's and shit?
This year,
Are they comparable?
The sticker price was like $320 on them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not too bad.
They're not.
My heart, I always destroy shit.
Did you say that's not too bad?
I mean,
is that what you said?
Compared to some
Fuck
like some
you,
of those,
bro. You make too much money.
No,
if that's not too bad.
I know.
Right.
No, you understand. I don't buy sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, those are
For
serious.
expensive sunglasses that people rave about.
No, those are actually like they're lower, like mid-level too. I mean, sky's
geez.
the limit with them.
Well, I know. I've owned one pair of Oakleys in my entire life, and I did not buy them, and I broke them. So so that's why I don't buy expensive shit.
I had a sweet pair of Oakleys, and I hopped on Corey's motorcycle, took off like a bat out of hell, and I had them on my head, and they flew off. And the dude behind me ran them over.
Oh, I went into the ocean with mine.
Did you?
I popped the lens out.
The cool thing was the dude that was behind me was actually a motorcycle rider, and he had an extra pair of, I don't remember what kind they were, but he gave them to me. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, bro, that's my fault. He's like, nah, just take these. I was like, nice.
Nice.
Still good people in the world.
Yeah, there are.
If you
for
can find
sure.
them.
Oh, they're out there,
Well,
man.
yeah. I mean,
Their voices just aren't the loudest right now, I think.
yeah.
No.
People aren't focused on them.
I think you look around here, I think there's a lot of good people left.
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
It just seems, just the looking out for one another seems like yesterday, or what was it, the other night after basketball, the phone started blowing up. There was an accident, and they were
Oh yeah.
seeing if like everybody was okay getting home. It's like there still is that. There's still like, your brotherhoods. It's just they're where are they? You just gotta find them.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. Well, like you said, they're loud. Who's the loudest?
I think it's just
Usually
the
it's
voice, man. I really do
You
think
know what
there's
I mean?
a lot of good people still left, especially in these smaller communities. I think all you hear them on the news is just
Yeah.
the kind of that minority voice or that voice that's the loudest.
Yeah, well, all the normal shit and the good feeling stuff doesn't sell.
So yeah, it doesn't.
Sex sells, Tony. Sex and violence.
Give me more puppies and kittens.
Yeah. I like that. Did you see that judge with that was doing the Zoom? It was like a Zoom court or something like that, and the judge had a filter on
He
his
had a
Zoom.
filter.
They made it look like a little cat.
It was the lawyer
Oh
was
my
trying
God.
to
Or
present his
something.
case, and he had he's like, sir, you have a filter of a kitty
He's like,
cat on your
it's
face.
like this big-eyed kitty cat. He's like, yeah, I'm not a cat. I'm here.
Oh my
I'm
god!
trying to get my assistant to get it off. He was an older guy.
Yeah,
Didn't know what he was doing at all.
Oh, it was pretty fun.
I just love the article I sent you about. I don't know who did that, but it was when the FBI was submitting their pictures for the Capitol riot, and someone photoshopped the picture of Blackberry with his dong out in the back of the picture, and that got submitted in the FBI case.
I saw that. That's
But how many times have we all seen that dong? Now
that
in the
guy.
I've seen that
That is-
dong more than I've seen my own dog.
Yeah, it's like
Where's the
everything.
video? I want the video. You guys say it's pretty funny, this video. By the way, Josh, thanks for joining us today.
Oh yeah,
We-
Yeah,
absolutely.
good to see you, brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it or because we've talked about you in the past on this.
I haven't caught. Actually, this week is the first week I've really like got into listening to trying to catch up because I spend a lot of time in like a machine or driving. So yeah, I was learning about the what was it? The penal injections and all the other shit you guys were talking about the other day. And I'm like, oh man, you're talking about girth and strength, and I'm like, man, maybe
Yeah,
where
where can you get some of those?
See what this is going.
Check, please.
Yeah, we've brought up the barbecue before. Oh, well, here real quick though, so we can show this. We can show just a little bit of. Oh, there's
Shift
a
is delivered
advertisement.
Our shoppers know
Why do
your
they always
twins
do
like-
that? I don't want no advertising.
Everybody's gotta make their money.
Everyone's got to make the money.
Everybody's got to make their money.
Maybe we should start doing that.
Everybody's
Making
an
money.
expert.
Making money on this. It might water it down too much. All right, here you go.
I've heard it. I haven't seen it. Oh, nice.
Turned on in the video settings. You might want to take a look.
Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is.
It's like it's almost crying too.
Remove it. I've got
It's like
my-
the Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
I'm prepared to go forward with it.
Papa, please don't convict
Lie,
me.
that's not. I'm not a cat.
I'm a cat.
Yeah, and I love it.
Okay.
Up in the
I
back,
can
up
see
in the
that.
corner, it says recording hearing
I
of
think
this
if
live
you
stream is
click the
prohibited.
up arrow,
Oh my gosh.
But there it is. Yeah. It's like, that's awesome. That's what happens when you get old people and technology colliding.
Bro, I'm not very good with technology. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can
but
say old people.
yeah, but I figured like you'd have to how'd you get the cat filter on there in the first place? You know what I mean?
I agree with that. I think I'm gonna start doing my Zoom meetings with my patients with a filter on.
Like a cat.
No,
like
maybe
a-
something a little different.
No, it's like just like when your kid gets hold of your phone, like you go in there, like, how the hell what did you do?
Yeah.
And it takes you like a half hour to undo or figure out what they did.
Yeah, everything's in Mandarin. You're like, how do I get this back?
I don't let my kid have my phone. It's
Probably
always
smart.
it's always
Probably
that
smart.
idea.
I try not to, but
It happens sometimes.
sometimes, as culture arises, I might be that dad that sometimes will sneak off to Jerry's or Meatheads or something on a Saturday afternoon. She wants to go. She gets her chicken nuggets, her fingers, and her pot. And we get to sit there. Dad gets to have a nice IPA beer. And you got to throw that babysitter out there. There it is.
Sometimes I can see it in public places. Sometimes it's like, look, kid, you got to just relax for a second. I know it
Yeah.
sucks, but here we are.
Especially with our youngest one. It's like, well, do we chase them all the way around, or do we just here, sit down,
Yeah.
shut up, watch TV?
I can get behind that in public places for sure.
I don't agree with it at home.
Yeah, I think there's a lot-
Way
there's-
too much at home.
Yeah, I think there's times where you just gotta get the fuck outside and go do something. Like burn off some of that energy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what like we talked about at the beginning of last year with the whole pandemic and everyone's freaking out. We didn't know what was going on. Kids are home from school, like they're not, she's getting her homework done like halfway through the day, and I'm trying to work. And it's like, dude, you gotta go outside and just go get dirty. Go do something. Just don't break anything because we
Right.
can't go to the hospital. Like other than that. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Did you want to introduce Josh?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You guys got on the cat
it's-
thing.
it's all
and we
right,
got
man.
off.
It's all right.
No,
Good.
yeah. So I don't remember what episode it was.
It was earlier.
Yeah, that might have been the Chris Doohan episode we talked about. Was
Oh,
it?
it was way earlier than
Was
that.
it earlier than
because,
that?
Yeah, because I screwed up the name of your company, and then
Oh, yeah?
I corrected myself. I was like, I'm sorry he's going to hear this. He's
I'm definitely gonna start paying attention and listen to the rest of them, catch up on it.
Yeah. So I mean,
no.
how did that? Because you got some fantastic barbecue, and you've made a
thank
name
you.
for yourself around here, at least for
yeah,
sure.
you have. It's
That's the thing. Like
Awesome.
Tony, you know what it's like. I mean, you start from the bottom, and a lot of places are at this point in time they're piggybacking off a generation, you know, their parents or somebody else. Right. A lot of people are taking over. Well, in 2013, I have a partner, Al Schreier. For some reason, my mom was just like, we are always cooking, like, why don't you do that Orville rib burn off? Like, what are you talking about? So, you know, like conversation we're having now, the bourbon and beers, and it's a great idea to do the rib burn off. We went around, and we had a dude from Doylestown. He was somewhere. He's like, if you won't sell 100 slabs of ribs, blah, blah, you're going to get smoked. And
right. No pun intended.
Challenge accepted.
I'm like, all right, fuck off.
Game bosses.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's nothing. It's actually word of mouth barbecue. And we went in, put some money into some signs and some stuff, and went in that year. We went and got 125 slabs of ribs. Now, when you're used to just doing like 5 or 6 slabs for like a backyard barbecue, and you go to Marshallville and they come out with pallets of them, you're like,
oh shit! I may have overestimated this.
You have no clue like what you're doing. You're picking up temporary health licenses, everything, and it was overwhelming. But we sold everything out, made money, sold everything. We won best ribs and People's Choice.
That's awesome.
Your first go at it.
First go at anything we did.
That's awesome.
Swinging for the fences, right?
Yeah, well, because I feel like you guys have a ton of accolades and awards. And
there are.
Your first time, that's awesome.
Not to be cocky, but like now some of them, cause, you know, trophies don't pay bills, but they're nice displays. We'll keep them, they get wet and everything. They're in dumpsters all over the Midwest. Like they get so nasty, you just throw them. But you know, some of the nicer ones. But no, it took a lot of effort and hard work, and you know we weren't, like we were talking about, getting in. You got to find the right people that are willing to help you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Joe Henderson, super stellar guy. He had Hog Wild Barbecue, and he kind of took us under his wing, and he started getting us some nice shows and some things like that. Because at that point, you know, you can't just show up to any rib burn off. You got to like kind of tier your way up into it. You know, you buy your time doing the shitty shows. I shouldn't say shitty shows because all our customers and people are great, but your smaller ones to get to the big level. And it took a while, and we've done really well with it.
It's like some kind of like inner like community of you can't get in this.
No,
barbecue.
it sounds like honky tonking, man. Like you're playing in some honky tonk bars that are hole in the walls.
It is,
and you earn some respect, and you work your way up and get to some different venues. You garner the respect, and you're allowed to go there and showcase.
And then once you know, the biggest thing is you got to take pride in your product.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
especially with food,
somebody gets, you know, like if you go someplace and you get one bad thing, or you get sick or something, are you going back? Hell no,
probably not. Well, you know, I got a few screws loose, so maybe one more time. But I understand.
Yeah, you'll give them another shot.
I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, when we first started, we just did meat, and then we brought in you guys got to do sides. We're like, next thing we do sides, and all of a sudden we have this humongous menu, and we're constantly reinventing the banners, the showcase of everything, and it's legit full. It's big. You guys have seen it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like I remember the first time I've seen the pictures of it. It's like you have all these different signs and everything all over. Yeah. And I'm like, I didn't even like that's a giant thing, and I realized I'm like, oh, those are just signs, and like I think because you have like some of like the. Like people put like the quotes, like the award, like you know, the different accolades and stuff on there. It's like, Jesus, like
flash is cash. I mean, obviously you guys Rogue.
Yeah, well, look at that.
I ain't wrapping trucks or nothing, but
pimping ain't easy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have yard signs or whatever, but I'll throw some cards out. And you know, the catering aspect of things, that's as we've progressed. My partner, like in the summer, he does a lot of the. When I say business partners, I do.
Oh, you heard that one?
You heard that episode?
I heard that episode.
We better clarify that.
He's heard that one.
Business partner,
not sexual partner.
Yeah, no.
Well, you know, no judgment here.
But no, stellar dude. He's he's always 120% outlays with everything he does, and as my kids were getting older, the age group's different. He's kind of taken. He more or less runs everything now. I do a lot of the catering and things of that nature, but he travels like when we travel. When I say we travel, we've been to New York. We do a couple shows in Chicago. He's gone all the way up to Wisconsin with it before. Cincinnati, PA. We do a couple ordeals in PA. New York, which they actually called, and they already canceled their show, their early spring show already. So that's kind of a bummer. But
Rona?
yeah, New York's funny. I was just up there last week. We went to Ellicottville. A friend of ours, they had a house up there, a cabin or whatever.
Okay.
So we went up for the weekend. Just
Do some skiing while you're up there?
my fat ass didn't do no skiing. I tweaked my back, and it was really cool. It was like on kind of the backside of the mountain. These people had their own slopes.
No kidding.
Like they would actually walk out their house, and everything was designed, and even the roads that they could ski down to their own lift.
Also,
like
they actually have a lift and everything?
Yeah, they've got their own lift.
So you'd have to.
Private mountain slash.
Yeah.
Bro, where's this at?
It's right at Holiday Valley. It's right on the backside of Holiday.
How much we talking to get one of these houses?
I wouldn't actually. They were not over the top, so I
Like
wouldn't.
they weren't. Are we talking more than $1 million or less than $1 million?
Oh, less. I would say because they're
Yeah,
not.
'cause, I mean,
a lot
that's
of them
mo-
are just like
In that area,
A-frame,
especially right in Holiday Valley, it's just basically all it is just
Yeah.
the slopes. There's not like a big city or anything around there. I've been to Holiday Valley before, so
we went in there to eat and just a bunch of A-frame like condominiums and stuff
Yeah.
there in there. But you have to be a member of that whole community to get access to those.
Once
And it was pretty cool because they shut the lift down at like 5, and here comes all the kids with sleds. Like the whole community, there's all these kids coming out on this huge mountain just scooting. I'm like, I was watching them skiing and snowboarding. Next thing these kids are coming, but you know it was cool. But New York is a different beast because we went in town and we got to eat. Well, it's going to be a wait, so we went to a bar beside there. Well, their governor, to support small businesses like that, if you get a round of beers, so us three went in there and I got a round of beers or something. The whole time we're sitting there, we have to buy one entree or
gotta have food.
Oh yeah.
or something, and it was just domestic beers. I mean, one round was 5 beers and it was like $40. Oof, it was just a little pricey, but no, it was cool. Just nice, just to get away for a minute. But
Yeah.
as far as like the barbecue, they're good people up there. We love them. We stay in contact with them. And that was another one. I'll refer to Joe quite a bit because further down the line, he had 2 setups. Well, we actually bought the one from him.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can go 2 different places at the same weekend. Or, well, I can stay back here. We can do caterings. I usually stay home and do caterings. Now, the thing with barbecue and the shows it's a flip of a coin, man. You got a lot of factors. Do they promote it right? Or the band's going to bring them in?
Right.
Yeah.
Is there something kid-friendly going to be there? And then
Imagine weather too would be.
the weather's the biggest
True.
one. So it's just, you throw all that into it. There's some weekends, you go up there and you're scratching pennies to get home.
Ooh.
And then there's other weekends you did very, very well. And when I say like the bigger shows that we've worked our asses to get to, we do the Columbus Jazz and Rib Burn Off now. Jazz Fest, Rib Burn Off. We're trying really hard to get into like the Heinz Field. That's a big heavy hitter. We do the Berea National, Strongsville. So we do like some pretty powerhouse shows now.
Yeah.
But a lot of those other businesses, like these guys are selling them to these other people. And like these guys come in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you motherfuckers bought this.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't work.
They have all the pieces and parts, but it's not the
you
person
didn't-
doing it.
Yeah, you didn't work for I'm not saying they don't work, but you didn't go like our route. You didn't have to start from the bottom and work your way up.
The grind.
It was, and dude, there was some.
It's still a grind, man. It's always a grind.
And through those years, like
like
me and
pretending
Al,
to be
like we
Betty
never
Crocker.
had a knockdown, throwdown, but I mean, there was some butting heads over the years, and just once we made that transition turn, it's awesome. We figured out, and you have partnerships.
Oh yeah.
They're
You butt heads sometimes. It's not always
yeah, it's-
rainbows, puppy dogs, and unicorns.
Yeah, yeah, definitely not. And but no, we made a turn. Things were going really well. And like last year, we've got 2 whole reefer unit box trucks and full setups. Had a stellar staff. Well, there was years the staff made more than I did, and
I understand that.
yeah, well, they're all getting paid, and we're going to keep this business, going to keep putting it. But we've had good staff, good people. We've had some interesting ones, obviously. It's just you just got to keep pushing and pushing.
So you sound like you guys are just like running all summer long, then.
Yeah,
essentially.
And that was the thing. Like this year, like we were set, like because one, it was a leap year, so a lot of shows were like booked differently. They had moved dates, so like we were sitting like pretty. Like we had double shows, a bunch. We had a bunch of caterings going on. Like we've done a lot of corporate caterings.
Oh, yeah.
We got into a lot of those.
Yeah, those are you guys.
Yeah,
Treated us right, man. We had 200 plus people there.
yeah.
And dude, that food was literally gone by like 9 o'clock.
Right.
Smashed.
You know,
Smashed.
And I try to judge it to where like, all right, people, you know when to come, but like we do the HOAs, Seaman Corporation, numerous other corporations have had us come in and do, and some of them we'll do like all 3 shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me tell you, getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning
To cook something.
to go serve somebody barbecue at 4 for their lunch, that's it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then you get to see like the third shift creatures, I should say. Yeah,
I've worked third shift before. I know those people.
So have I. I was those people.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
I'm those people. It's all right.
I absolutely
Yeah.
been those people. Yeah.
So no, nothing against them, but
No, I mean it's a
we used
different
to-
kind of breed to work in the middle of the
Yeah.
night when everyone else is sleeping. It takes
Yep.
a little bit different.
And then like with the bigger corporations, like those people, they expect that,
True.
But you do like the smaller business, like, and you get more of a thank you and appreciation out of it.
Yeah.
To where like those other ones, oh, these sons of bitches owe us this, blah blah blah. It's not me, man. Just take your food and go. Enjoy.
Well, it's different too. It's better. I mean, because I've had your guys' stuff at multiple places where it's like, oh, where's this from? Like, oh, it's fucking After Hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah! Like I know those. Like, I know those guys. Like, I think I had because. Not to get too into it, but we've known each other for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
And
History is like Fred, you same age as me, but you went to school. You were Dan's grade.
yeah,
And I remember like Dan's like second grade birthday parties and shit. Fred would be over at the house. I mean, that's how long ago.
and even at one point we were roommates for a
Yeah.
short period of time. But I remember having your barbecue and not realizing who made it. And then afterwards, I'm like, God damn, this is some good fucking barbecue. And then the next time, I'm like, what? Like, it's like, oh, this is, Crall's. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't even fucking know. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's phenomenal.
And like a lot of our people, they stay true. So last year we opened up a carry out, and until they opened the restaurant, I mean, we just did it at our home base house place.
Yeah.
We had cars lined up out the driveway, and I'm like, holy shit. And it did really well for a while, and it kind of fell flat around Memorial Day. Once they opened the restaurants kind of back up, and it was summer, people would get back out. But yeah, we lost a lot, and then we know a lot of the, like Len's concessions and all that. And we know them. Dude, them dudes are pimping their rigs everywhere. I mean, it's every weekend you can find them somewhere. And that's those people's livelihood.
Yeah.
Right.
And there was nothing. So,
Yeah.
and unfortunate for us, I mean, I'm a full-time foreman for a pipeline, and I was a full-time carpenter, that, we're not relying on that.
True.
So that's kind of a blessing. But yeah, it was tough. Last year was definitely challenging. I mean, for everybody, but
Yeah.
if you relied on that, dude, you were fucked. You were done.
Yeah, especially, I mean, it came out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, obviously that's why everyone freaked out, but whatever. You can think what it is now, but at the time you couldn't do anything about it.
No, and you can argue, and we can all argue till your point of views but at the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do what the higher up says we're gonna have to do for now, which sucks. But yeah, like I say, the barbecue. I'll go to random places, or I'll hear people like, "Yeah, I see a dude with an After Hours BBQ shirt on." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Do you have any of them fucking shirts we've given away?" Like,
Sounds like us.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Shotgun.
just we buy them and intends to sell them, and the next thing they're gone. And it's sweatshirts and everything. So it's cool, you know. And when people come and like random, like, hey, I want a sweatshirt or something from you guys, you know, it's like, cool. Like I seen Rogue had new hats the other day. I said, Corey, we're gonna trade up. Give me a hat.
Jesus, I didn't even get a hat.
Yeah, I didn't even realize
I didn't get one yet.
Co-owner of the damn company.
Yeah,
I saw the bill actually.
I haven't got it yet.
Well, that's the same thing. Like I'll be wearing like a Rogue shirt, and someone's like, "Oh, I see your guys' trucks everywhere." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't work. I don't work there."
work for them.
Well, they gave me shirts, but like you guys are all like super macho and, you know, get this dry fit tight shit, and you don't buy clothes for big boys. It's like going to Baby Gap if I put your shit on.
Hey, I don't make those purchase orders.
Yeah,
It's not me.
So I tell my wife, hey, here's another damn shirt. So, but no, I appreciate it. Maybe one day when I get motivated, but yeah, it's a challenge. It really is. And like, even as far as like meat and stuff, when they shut those packing houses and stuff down,
everything.
We would just get stuff from like Restaurant Depot because we're not doing the big shows. Usually we're in a big buying group with all these other rib burn-offs to where they'll actually, U.S. Foods, they'll drop a semi-trailer at these big events. You just show up, all your shit's in that trailer in a box. That's your order.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And then, some of those ribs had some serious miles on them the one year.
Ooh.
Like from New York to Chicago.
It's like a Johnny Cash song.
Yeah, they did.
I've been everywhere, man.
Like some of our buddies, you know, like we've become like a staple in the industry. Like people see us pull in and they're like, fuck. Then other ones are like, I want to sit up beside those guys. I want to get their overflow. You know, and that's how we learned, like, get beside them. Get beside those big dogs. Don't be intimidated. Go up against them. People get tired. Wait, let's try them.
We'll try those. Yeah.
And the next thing, you know, it's just a revolving thing. When you're sitting there and you see two lines, 40 people deep.
And then the one beside it's got like 5 people.
I'm hungry. I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I need food.
I just want some meat.
You know, and I'm a social person, and, you know, I consider myself somewhat of a people person, but I'm not like a big crowds guy. But I can go to these things because I'm in my domain. I'm like behind my counter.
Right.
But every once in a while, we have to pull what's called the front guy at these events. You just go out, stand out front, and bullshit, talk to people, and convince them to buy your food. So
shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works. You have to have the right person out there to do it. You have to have a character.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys know our friend Drew Brown. I think this year we might have him. He's just a chatty cat. Have him, but it's just it's cool. That's all you can say about it. And you take pride in it. At the end of the day, you know, you're counting your money, but that's not always what it's about. It's the relationships you built all over.
Yeah.
With, you know, these promoters, and when you go to places and they're coming to you, they want you to do all their backstage vending for all the bands and everything else. You're like, yeah, I'll hook you up, because that gets you the spots.
Right.
That gets you, you know, closer to Maine, and sometimes you gotta kiss a little ass. But
yeah, I mean, that's running a business, right?
Right.
all the ins and outs.
But no, just the product alone has built a hell of a name. You know, we've come up with some good creations. You know, like our Big Al sandwich. We call it the Big Al sandwich. Hell, I made it. And it's a pork, brisket, and a big scoop of coleslaw on top. The thing's huge. I mean, it's probably a pound and a half, 2 pounds.
Is there any bacon on that thing?
Oh man, don't ruin barbecue with bacon. I can see that. That's fighting words in their eyes. I can tell. But no,
you know, I love your food though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, bacon's expensive.
Understandably.
But no, and then like we do a Crall Daddy Sunday. So it's like cornbread and a big old scoop of our cowboy beans. They're not just Bush's family recipe. Man. They're actual good beans. You know, there's some meat and bacon in it.
Thank you.
So, and
That's the one place. That's the one place I don't like my bacon.
Do you have a golden retriever promoting it, or
German short hairs and a Great Dane, I guess maybe.
Walden.
There you go.
Yeah.
Trump card, you went.
Yeah. No, but we And then you put pulled pork and nacho cheese on that, cornbread. Oh yeah,
That sounds tasty.
it is. It's huge. You feel like these ladies come up. I want a couple more orders of those beans. You're like, oh man, your poor husband tonight. And they'll even say it. It's you meet all at a rib burn off. Usually they're sponsored by some form of Bud Light, Miller Lite, or something.
And Tums.
Yeah, they should be
Pepto Bismol.
Tums and Pepto Bismol for sure. And might as well throw some Scots in there. That could be eat a bunch of barbecue. That's
Yeah, you got an extra roll of. That was another problem. The toilet paper is all gone during this layer.
Cool.
Yeah. So they it's just you see all sorts of walks of life, and we've even done shows in downtown Detroit, and it's just cool. The people, and you see some things that are like, oh, thank God the kids weren't here. Especially the later it goes.
Right.
But it's fun. Those rib burn offs are fun, and they're a good. Somehow, in some sense, like some of them are dying off, but man, they're a good time.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that will come back. You know what I mean? Especially after,
I think the established ordeals will come back, but as far as maybe some people will try and jump on the boat and do some new ones. I don't know. Like last year out at Indy for the NASCAR race, they were going to incorporate a rib burn off that. I'm like, fuck yeah.
that sounds like a
Oh
party.
yeah.
I'm like, let's go.
NASCAR.
I
mean, you can say what you want about NASCAR, but those people know how to fucking party.
Oh, absolutely.
Left turns. If you're not first, you're last.
Right. Shake and bake, baby.
Yeah.
Shake and bake. But they, like Joel and Aaron with Country Fest, like we were going to do neon lights and stuff with them last year. Them poor dudes. I mean, they're hell of dudes. They put on obviously kick-ass party out there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Almost too kick-ass.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing?
Yeah.
I was there.
When your wife
back
has
in
to undo your seatbelt when you get home? Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Tuesday night.
Right. Yeah. I remember being there when they still had golf carts.
That's
How about,
terrible
how about,
idea.
how about when they had mini skid steers?
Oh.
Slid that one in there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm registered.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
No, but that's what I'm saying, though. I think a lot of, especially, I'll say this. Towards the end of last year, I thought, like, you know what, this is going to be it's just going to turn us into that stay-at-home kind of culture and just technology, and that's what but, man, the more and more it happens, because I'm not, like, a big crowds guy either. I'm becoming more and more like a people person, but I used to hate crowds and hate people and everything.
Right.
But, man, I think there's a lot of people that just want to go fucking do something.
That's where everybody's tired. They're
Yeah.
tired of being cooped up. And I think when it does it's going to explode. I think people are out. I mean, there's people are spending money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Oh, yeah.
it turned
Well, they keep
into
sending it
a-
to us, so you
Yeah.
might as well keep spending it. Well, some of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I paid house payments line, damn it. But I mean, people are spending money. They're not afraid
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And then, like some of them, the more they can spend, the happier they are. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm here to take it.
Yeah, if you want to give it to me. I think that's what, like, the whole stimulus thing constantly. I'm like, I think it's a terrible idea. It's pumping out all this money, but if you're going to hand it out,
Right.
I'm going to stand in line too, and I'm going to grab some. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think it's a fantastic idea if you're invested in crypto.
yeah.
Right.
Just devalue that dollar.
Yeah, it's scary. But I think I wonder how much of that, like, especially during the summer. I wonder. This summer is going to be interesting. I feel like to see how
I think shit's going to blow up this summer.
in more ways than one. I feel like. But
Well,
you, like,
dude, the Ohio Mini Mike opened the bars back up yesterday. So it's full send right now.
Yeah.
For now.
for now, yeah.
I don't think you could take. You can't just keep playing this give and take away game. You can. I don't think you
They can try.
But sooner or later, people are no, dude. We're done with you.
Well, you look at fucking Florida, man.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it. We're just doing it. I saw a video of Tom Brady just
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
shit hammered.
Yeah.
Like someone was like holding him, like, he's
Tossing
like,
the Lombardi over
That's
the
good.
boat.
Yeah,
Like,
tossing the Lombardi back
yeah.
and forth on boats. I
yeah,
mean,
they're like, fuck it, I don't care. Like, if we drop it, we'll pay someone millions of dollars to go get it.
well, we went down there over Christmas. We go down, or not Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would tell you put your mask on, but down there was not like, you know, spaces in between anything.
Yeah. Floridians don't care. They
They don't care. They put restrictions on this and that, but no pools. They were clear full of people, and it was an awesome time. It really was. They didn't care. We went to this whole town. They had a car parade that night, and people just walking, drinking beer in the open out there. They didn't care. It was wide open, like it should be.
Yep.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too. I mean, I think we've seen with some of the data and stuff, and not to get too into the weeds on that, but you look at the data, like, all right, well, if you're older than 50, 90, let's be a little more cautious. But other than that, like just purely on the data, if you're younger than 45, you're probably going to be just fine without any, much concern.
Yeah.
Statistically, just saying statistically, like, but if you're 80, hey, maybe you should be careful. Like,
yeah, but that's pre-coronavirus though. Oh, you're 80. Maybe you shouldn't get the flu. Maybe you should avoid some of these things.
But I mean, just this specific thing, because kids die from the flu all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
agreed.
not now. No one's dying from the flu anymore.
Nobody's
dying from the flu right now.
The flu? What's the flu? What's the flu?
I seen that the other day. Like nobody has the flu this year. Nobody. I'm like,
yeah, I'm like, why would you? Like, do you really think we're all that dumb? Like, it disappeared. Come on. But yeah, to your point, I think this summer is going to be an interesting.
People are they're fed up. They didn't get to do what they wanted to do last year, and they're ready to go. We've all got young kids.
Yeah.
We're ready to take our kids different places. We're ready to get out and take them. You couldn't go anywhere last year, like hardly anywhere, unless you want to go hiking or something like that.
Which is fine and dandy.
Sometimes you can't even go hiking because they shut the park down.
Right.
Some of those places.
For sure.
Well, that's even like, I'm happy that like, I've talked about before, like kid playing sports. Like, I'm glad that we live in an area. Even the CJ interview you talked about, they're still not back in school because he's up around Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I'm really grateful that my kid was able to go to school because I need that. And I'm really grateful that she's able to play sports because that's phenomenal. She's able to do that. But I just still don't get to watch her.
Yeah.
But guess what? I can go to practice.
Say you and me can sit there and bullshit during practice.
Yeah, no one's like, well, they're actively exercising, so they don't have to wear masks. But guess what? I brought my kid to practice in a vehicle with no mask. I live with her every single day. So what's like? There's no science behind. I don't get it. Like the kids can interact, but we can't go watch them. Like it doesn't make zero fucking sense.
What's science?
Science. Yeah.
What's science? No, I got a couple questions
Patriarchal.
and some statements here. Okay. When you go to Columbus during Jazz Fest, serious question.
Oh boy.
Do you have a jazz flute with you?
Like a cornet, maybe.
Jazz
I
flute.
think we bought one just for that.
Did you?
It's somewhere up in the truck somewhere. I lost it. I don't
If you have any videos of that, please submit them. I'd love to see it. Love to see
They seem
it.
out there with like one of those like plastic recorders,
Statements.
maybe.
Yeah.
Statements. Cash and flash, baby. Cash and flash.
Yeah,
So
crossbuns.
Actually, that's a good sales pitch. I think I'm gonna have to do that.
jazz flute.
Oh man, I don't know. We'll try it. Yeah.
I think even hot cross buns on a recorder. It just
Jazz flute recorder.
it's all the same.
If you drink
right?
enough, it looks the same.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. No.
Statements though. So you were talking about cash and flash and kind of advertising and things like that. But dude, your product though, you're only as good as your service or your product.
Oh, absolutely.
Your product, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And that's no bullshit, man. I've had Texas barbecue, I've had Memphis barbecue, had all kinds of barbecue. Phenomenal.
I appreciate that.
It's really good. I mean, I haven't traveled like Tony has and had North Carolina and Texas and Memphis and all that barbecue. I have been to Louisiana. Fantastic. That's more of a Cajun-ish type.
Get
I
your
feel
voodoo ass out of here, Fred.
It's good food. It's good food. But it's it's kind of a parallel for me. Tony and I had the conversation before about like sushi and like, all right, so for anyone who doesn't know, we're based in Ohio. And
gas station sushi.
Yeah, like
where you go.
Gas station sushi and pizza, But like I've been to New York City and had sushi there, which, I mean, for me, like
flying it in daily.
Yeah, there's
daily.
like for me, like New York is like if there's one thing good about New York City is the food is just mind blowing. The pizza and all those things. Obviously, people could like Chicago pizza, different styles, whatever. But when like people are like, "Hey, man, there's this new sushi place, and up here in Wadsworth in Ohio, it's really, it's fucking awesome." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, at the same time, people are like, "Oh, have you had like Old Carolina barbecue? It's so good." I'm like,
Trash,
I'm like,
garbage.
it's the McDonald's of barbecue, and I don't eat McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like it's. If you don't have anything, if you have no resource, if you have no outlet or no place to go to get something good, then people will take the best thing available. But like you said, your stuff's fucking good.
Oh, dude,
like,
it could hold its own against anything. And
Yeah.
like I said, I've been to different states. I had tons of badass different barbecue.
Yeah.
Can't say enough.
And
good
I literally,
things.
when I
Can't say
know
enough good
that
things.
After Hours is like catering or doing something like that, I know going into it, I'm not going to sleep tonight because
Right.
I'm going to have the fucking meat sweats for the next 12 hours because I'm going to stuff myself so full.
I welcome those meat sweats.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
stuff myself so full because it's so good. Like I just go just plates of meat. I'm just eating the brisket and like even the chicken is everything. It's
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we do everything. It's 100%, and we're not going to send something out if I'm not going to feed it to my family, and if I wouldn't eat it. One, it's not going out the door, and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I will throw hundreds of dollars in the trash that got burned, or other people will just try to doctor it up. No, it's going in the trash. It's not. It's just you have to have that staple and that discipline that if you're not going to eat it, don't send it to anybody else.
Ooh, like-
and I like to eat, and I don't. If you can tell, I'm a connoisseur of food, I guess, and beer, but it's just you got to hold yourself to that standard with your product, and you have to maintain that. That's the biggest thing. You do 1,000 racks of ribs or how many briskets. Every one of them needs to be
The same.
that staple of
Quality
you.
control. When you call you up, you know exactly what you're getting.
Right. And we're for the people. Like, man, we're very reasonable on our prices.
Oh yeah,
Very
super
reasonable.
reasonable. Man, we've got some. I'm like, is it, Josh? No, that can't be right. And you're like,
Yeah.
that's it. And I'm like, come on, dude, come on.
No, and then like even our wedding menu, like you go to places like they want you to pick your different meats
Yeah.
or whatever. Oh, you order 2 meats, everybody's getting everything. And there's always tons of extra food, especially if you have us for caterings and stuff. And people are like, you see them like 6 months later. Oh, I just got that one last bag of brisket out of the freezer through the crock pot. Man, that stuff was awesome. Like, yeah, thanks.
I think that's a big thing about weddings too that people don't like. Because I'm a cheap ass. I'm not necessarily cheap ass. I just like to be efficient with my money. But when people go to weddings, like what they always say, like, what do you remember about the wedding? Well, if it wasn't an open bar,
It's a food.
then you remember the food.
To food.
If it was an open bar, nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
you know what I mean? But like it's always the food, like, and
Right.
when you, and especially when because when somebody goes to like a wedding or a big event like that, because it's hard to cook for a lot of people, regardless of how good of a cook you are. To cook for hundreds of people, that's not, and for it to be fresh and hot and taste good right at that time, like it's not an easy thing. So when someone has food at an event like that that's really good, it's like, oh shit,
Right.
like who made this?
Yeah, we get that's when the anxiety and all that shit, when it gets like close to like go time, and you say, oh, yeah, you gotta be there at 4:30, and you're watching, and you got everything, like you just want to be able to pull it out and go, and like, oh, come on, Old Faithful, turn it up here, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just want to make sure everything gets there and it's fresh. And usually when you show up, like, oh yeah, we just wanted you here early. You're like, oh, shit, we're here early. Well, we're on time, but early for you guys, so. Yeah, we keep everything, our equipment and everything. Everything's top notch. We're fully licensed. Actually, this next week I gotta go take Serve Safe Level 2 and all that certification just to own, these companies. And it's good knowledge to have. You have to have it. But, so we're bonded, we're insured, full health license everywhere we go. I mean, it's a legit. People are like, oh yeah, barbecue. Well, there's a lot of shit that goes into having, especially with food and
because a lot of
every
shit
businessman there is.
It can get especially with food. I can imagine because a lot of shit can get fucked up. Like if you give 300 people like salmonella or something.
Yeah, apparently people have never heard of Typhoid Mary before.
Right.
Yeah,
and so everybody has like that opinion, like, but the next person will say, "Oh, their stuff sucked." You can't take that to heart because everything's everybody's different.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You're not going to get everybody to be on the same page. Or
Tony, is this going to be one of those?
Well, continue your conversation.
Just going to be peeing 5 times today.
breaking seals already.
Breaking seals.
I've been holding out. I wasn't going to be the first. So, but it's just enjoyable, and my kids are, so everybody knows, like your daughter and my daughter, well, they just played basketball. They're in the same class, so that's kind of how we reconvene. But she gets to come now. Well, everybody wants to run a cash register, but no, she's scrubbing dishes, and and the youngest ones, they're helping. They're back there,
you got to start out somewhere,
rubbing meats and mixing this and that. So we're trying to instill in the Al's boys. We want to instill this work ethic in them,
right?
Because they go to the rib burn offs. They're old enough. Like Tyler's stellar student athlete. So is Alex. Well, they're at the age now where they can fully do anything. I mean, they're 16. I think Alex like 14 now. Going to be 14. Hell, he might even be 15. No, yeah, he's 15. But so now our kids are getting involved.
Right.
So trying to, we made all this, especially Al, with the intention of, here's something. It's not a gimme for the kids. I mean, this isn't a business thing, but it's something that they can work.
Right.
And they can see what all it takes instead of just getting a job, bagging groceries or bussing a table.
Right. Just giving it to them. I think it's important statement you made too is like, no, guess what? You start off washing dishes.
Right.
Because, and a lot of people look at that and go, well, you start off doing the hard, crappy jobs because, whether it's the jobs that nobody wants to do or it's the hard, crappy jobs and that's just what it is. Well, one, yeah, you need to learn how to do some crappy stuff. But two, like, when you get to the point, if you work hard enough and try hard enough, you get to the point where you're at, where you're running it and you own it, I can imagine you've washed some dishes before.
Oh, I'm like, that's at the end of a big weekend, man, and you look out the fold down gate of the trailer and you're looking at like 2 hours of just scrubbing.
Yeah. So it's like,
dishes.
But to understand that, hey, that when you get to be the person that's running things or doing things or being the, the top dog, you understand what that person's going through,
right.
Washing the dishes, and showing that appreciation to not only the customers, but the people that do shit for you.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think we both, even as owners, you're not better than anything else. And that's like kind of ooh, man.
Oh, snap.
They're just coming out left and right.
Buffalo Trace.
You're not better than anybody else in anything. So let me tell you, you want, as an owner in a company, and like, we charge serving fees, and then other places want you to do the cleanup fee. Mm-hmm. They want you to do the cleanup. When you're the owner of a company, you're going around busting them tables at the end of the night. One, it kind of gives you an idea like what people want, and basically it tells me we give them too much food because you're throwing like half the food away.
Right.
They'll eat what they want, and well, you ain't got to-go boxes at weddings. I mean, some people they'll come up, hey, you got to-go. We always keep some, and they'll load up and take it. But you're throwing product that you worked hard making.
You just have to throw it away.
It's kind of like, well, did they not like it, or more or less? A lot of it comes out. It's just too much.
They just got too much. Yeah.
Because we load them up. Like, hey, they're paying for it. Take it.
Yeah.
But even as an owner, like we sit there and we bust tables, we clean it. We clean out all our smokers and we do all that. Hopefully we get the kids to do that pretty soon.
Yeah, getting paid.
That one can get a little brutal. But you have to do that. You have to maintain, and that's another thing. We pride ourselves. Everything's clean. It's crisp. It's you have to put that extra effort, or else you're not going to make it.
Well, I think it goes back to what you said at the beginning, that when people have a bad experience with that one company or that one whatever it is, then they're turned off to it. Right. And then what is that one person going to say? And it goes back to even before I ever even started talking, is the complaints are going to be the loudest.
They are.
You know what I mean? It's who's the loudest? Who's the squeaky? The saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, those complaints, like when you look at even like shopping for something online, look at the reviews. What do you look at? You look at the bad reviews, because you go, okay, what can be fucked up with this?
Right.
So the more bad reviews you have, the louder it's going to be, and the more impact it's going to have. So
that's, you don't fear it because you just know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it's the best thing ever,
Oh,
you're
yeah, dude,
still going to piss somebody off.
Someone's going to have a negative opinion somehow.
And how you said, we still give places second chances. It just dawned on me. For years, I'm still going to fucking Orville McDonald's. I mean, that is the worst McDonald's in the state, in the country. And we still go there. But.
Well, I did the same thing for a while to a local B-Dubs. And I like, obviously B-Dubs is kind of like the
overpriced staple of wings.
Yeah, and it's not, I don't even go to get the wings, but it's like your sports bar. Like if you don't have like a local like hole in the wall bar with TVs, to go to, it's like you can go there, get an okay beer with some okay food, and
right.
I'll still go to other ones, but the local one, somebody was like, oh, we don't go there anymore. Their service sucks, this, that, whatever. And I was like, it's okay. And I had a bad experience one time. I'm like, it is what it is. Sometimes people just mess up. And I was just telling somebody about this the other day. Like, it was a couple years ago. We're like, hey, we'll go here because we just wanted to do something quick. And we were literally like, we walked in and there was like one other couple there. So we sit down and then they get seated. Two other groups come in. We're sitting there and then they get seated. And even the group that came, like, even them, like, they looked at us where they're like, ooh, like, I don't know. Like, sorry. It was only two of us. Like, they're like, that's like, even like the customers were like, well, that was fucking weird. Like, sorry. So I walked up. I'm like, hey, are you going to like seat us? And they're like, oh, they look down. They're like, oh yeah, it'll just be a couple minutes. I said, well, you just literally seated two groups that came in after us. Like, oh, well, let me check. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. So you guys are still at the front?
Yeah.
When you walk in and like these people that did not have reservations got seated before you.
Correct. Yeah. So then,
and it's not like you can hide. Like, you're not a small dude.
No, like I went up there. No, I went up there and put our names in.
Yeah.
And then so it was like we would put our names in, and they were like, yeah, just a couple minutes. And then they were like, I was like, no. I was like, no fucking thanks. Like, I'm good. We just left.
Right.
You breaking the seal?
Yeah.
Hang around.
Before you actually air it.
Ish.
I basically just splice it together. So like this right here will probably be in. I don't do any editing. And I don't know how much people realize that. That's really good. I don't know how much.
Man.
I don't know how much people realize. Like, I don't like, the only editing that I do is to start the show, and then like right now we just took a bathroom break, and then I just splice it together, and
there we go.
Yeah, that's the whole point of this, is to not. There's no structure. There's no rules. It's just like to allow people. What I really enjoyed about some of the podcasts that I kind of started getting us on this, train, was just a conversation, because everyone's so fucking. It's those Instagram videos and Facebook and these fucking stupid arguments and posts and memes and everyone just bitching and screaming and like fighting at each other, and there's no communication at all. There's no just, hey, like,
right.
I'm gonna say some fucked up shit. You know what I mean? But then like when you say it on the internet, it just gets captured and it's fucking canceled or whatever. It's
especially when the things are typed. There's
Yeah.
such a deception of different things. Like I even realized that like me and my wife have been together a long time. 14, 15 years. I think this year's gonna be 13 years we're married. You know, even deception of like text, like how you get it, like yeah or okay, you know. You
like,
can
what's
take
that mean?
Yeah, like how are you taking that?
Well, it's like the whole thing is when someone says like, "Hey, we need to talk." What the fuck? Uh-oh. Like,
You
what did I
automatically
do?
like think
Oh,
the
shit.
worst. Yeah.
It's like, no, I just want to know what you want for dinner. Like, like
Right,
I
right.
actually, it was funny. I went and gave a presentation, not really a speech, a presentation at OSU, an OSU campus this week, and it was a.
It wasn't the ATI, was it?
No, it was in Mansfield.
A branch of ATI.
Yeah, no, it was in Mansfield, and it was a fuck, what was it? No,
You said it was something on communications. Didn't you?
yeah, it was a it's a communications. All I can think of is economic, but it's not economic. It was a
Business ethics.
no, it's definitely not business. They would not have me there.
You get awarded no points. We are now dumber for listening to what you just said.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really stumped on the word I want.
want
The
some Triscuit
nature
crackers.
and shit. It's an E word for nature.
An E word.
Yeah. Not
Environmental.
environmental. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Environmental communications class. So it was like, I didn't really know what I was walking into, but they kind of learn how to talk about like it's environmental stuff, but it's also like the communication piece of it, like talking to the public and different things. And you know, I told Tony this, I started out with the George Bernard Shaw quote.
Yeah.
The biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has occurred. Because, and I brought in, we had a guest on the show, Dan Leach, who's phenomenal guy. But I said, basically a shameless plug here. We were having a conversation with, my buddy Dan Leach, who's a professor and artist, author, and about the duality when you are communicating with one person. I'm going to say something, you hear something, you interpret it. So, and not only is there two different things, but there might be four different aspects. Is I might use my words wrong. I might misunderstand how I want to say something, or so whatever I say, the words that I use might mean something completely different than what I think they mean. And then not only that, but even if I articulate myself properly, you might hear the words that I say and interpret them differently. And that's just on a in-person vocal level. So then, like you said, you're bringing down the text, and it's throw fucking communication out the window.
Yeah, and even like I'm more of a talk, like especially with like the business, or I'm a foreman for a major pipeline outfit, and everybody wants to text and stuff. No, I'm gonna call you. That way, I know you heard it.
Yeah.
And then on some of it, I'll even text. That way, I have record that you've seen it.
Yeah.
So you know.
Record of this conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's crazy. But I know that we'll get off barbecue, but I know you guys do a bunch of work for the College of Worcester.
Yep.
We did their faculty and staff.
Heard about that.
Yeah. First year was 600. Next year was like 900. And the last year we did it was 1,200 people.
Wow.
So we actually built up their party. So
That's a lot of people, sir.
it was.
That's a lot of people.
It took like an hour and a half. That's all it took.
That's crazy.
But yeah, Phil Olson over there.
Yeah. Surprised that many liberals eat barbecue.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, we weren't. We weren't allowed to have any beans in the meat, or
Meat and the beans.
beans in the meat, meat in the beans. Have another one. Yeah.
I'm obviously just joking about that comment. I made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't. So But yeah, and you get to make veggie burgers and kale salads and that's even the thing like with our catering. We'll do anything you want.
Yeah.
I've had a couple veggie burgers.
What do you think of these veggie burgers? I've never had a veggie burger.
I don't know. Basically, it makes your shit stick to the toilet. I think it's like
So, dude, hold on.
It pasted glue. I mean, they're not terrible.
What is it? Is this tofu? What is it? What's a veggie burger?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of
Pressed,
beans
like-
and basically, yeah, you just take a bunch of mixed veggies, you make souffle out of it, and you press it into a patty like with a breadcrumb or something to holding it together.
Sure.
Gluten.
Something to congeal them together.
They're something.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, to me,
I have to have one just because I'm like I made it. I'm just like
Yeah,
I gotta try this.
yeah, you got
Sure.
yeah, for sure.
Is it something I'm gonna eat? I know I've got a whole cow going into butcher later this week, so it's not my cup of tea. But I respect everybody in what they eat.
Yeah, if you wanted to eat it, go. I mean, I don't.
I'll
Just
make
don't
whatever
shame.
you want.
My thing is, don't shame me for eating meat.
Right,
Oh, bro, there's zero shame here. In this
Well, no,
podcast.
obviously there's zero shame here, but you know what I mean. That's the biggest thing for me is there's been such a flip of people wanting to not be shamed because of
I'm good.
what and who they are and what they do, this, that,
you.
whatever. Great. All right. I'm not going to shame you for that. You do whatever you want to do. You eat what you want to eat. I don't care. But don't, if I'm not hurting you, then don't turn that back on me and be and start
True.
talking shit.
No, I even do hot dogs. People they have a bunch of kids, they want hot dogs.
Yeah.
I'll do hot dogs, whatever you want. I don't care. I'll cook what rigatoni and anything. you name it. You make it. You ask for it. I'll figure out how to do it. Because me and Al, we both like to cook. And then actually, my brother, he was the main head chef at Murfield Country Club.
Okay.
Before, but now he owns Dell's Ice Cream and Coffee Shop down in Columbus. So he kind of gives me some insight on
Which
some
one?
Jeff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Dan's a PA. He just re-registered his license in Tennessee.
Nice.
No kidding.
So they're transferring. She's at Fort Lejeune now. She's a senior petty chief officer.
Oh, okay.
So she's got to actually retire with the Navy, but they're transferring to Tennessee. So he actually got his job already too.
I don't think I've seen him
Nice.
since he left for the military.
Oh, he's still as ugly as the day he left for the military. No.
Dan's a good guy, man.
He's stellar. Both my brothers, we all get along. People are like, do you ever see your brothers? I'm like, well, we don't see each other, but we talk.
Right.
There's
That's more than I can say for my family. So.
yeah. There's still a little bit of a line of communication there. It's few and far between, but yeah, they're doing fantastic. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, Jeff, he made breakfast for Urban Meyer for years. Because he had I think his house was on 16 or something. So he would come up there and eat breakfast.
Sure.
Have his grappa and all this other stuff every day.
That's wild.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you get to go down there, behind the scenes, when there's nothing going on and see. It's an impressive place.
Yeah.
Especially up in there.
I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah.
It's a compound.
Yeah, their oak room or their main clubhouse where all the. It's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, puts Caddyshack to shame. There's no gambling in Bushwood. I should need to watch that movie again, get refreshed.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. But, that's another thing, nowadays, some of those older movies, I guess since we're free-for-alling, Blazing Saddles and Porky's and... Dude, you don't...
It's a distinct mole on that tallywhacker.
Give me one look, I'll see that one eye. Don't take her to the gym room. Oh. So,
Bro, those movies are apparently unacceptable these days.
they are.
Too much. Just cancel. Too much.
I remember first time we watched Blazing Saddles as kids.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting around the campfire just ripping ass and us boys just laughing.
Yeah.
And up until, I think, 5 or 6 years ago, you could still catch it on TV.
Yeah.
No, not now.
Well, I think that's a crazy thing too. Is especially when it comes to comedy. I was listening to a conversation the other day about like like if nothing else, like comedians should be like the bastion of say whatever the most fucked up thing you can think of, as long as you can make it funny.
True.
Like, you should be able to. Because I've talked about it before, I'm about as irreverent as it comes. Like if you make something funny, I'll fucking laugh at it. It might not be quote unquote appropriate, but if it's meant to be a joke, that goes back to intent in the conversation. You can't get intent from a text message.
Right.
It's just crazy that we've thrown everything out the window of, oh, that offends me this, that offends me that. Like, who are we not going to offend anymore? There's not going to be anything left.
Right. And that's like even this morning. So we went to breakfast at the local VFW, and the girls went over to the bathroom, the girls' bathroom. And there's people back there, and here my youngest son, he went to go over there, which they're at the age it doesn't matter. And here I stand. So we ain't no transgender shit around here. I said, get over here to your other bathroom. Those people took it and laughed. But if you say that at the wrong spot,
right,
dude, those are like war words.
Yeah, and to me, like, I'm okay with the joke, but because guess what? Like, it goes back to the discussions we've had on this podcast about like Peterson and how like he was college professor in Canada and got a bunch of hot water for the whole transgender thing.
Sure.
How he said he's not going to be compelled to say these things.
Like, because he was forced to say those things.
Right. He says, if you find enough interviews, he says multiple times, like, I'll call you whatever you prefer to be called. Like, I will treat you just the same way I do. With the utmost respect. With the utmost respect. It's the same way I do any of my other students. But don't like make me do something like by law. Like if you're making somebody do something by law, like what are you getting out of it? You know what I mean? Like you're not getting, when you make somebody do something, it's like, what's the point?
To me, that's infringements of rights. I mean, in an aspect it is.
Yeah.
If they want to do something that way and they want to carry, but that goes back to perception too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of things.
Oh, you mean the Constitution? That's a legitimate thing that we should honor.
The way to me, the way I was brought up, that's kind of the.
You mean our founding fathers had IQs over 100? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean black and white, right? And I think that's another thing that with today is there's too much gray, way too much gray. We're talking about the Constitution. That's black and white. That was some very powerful, intelligent men that wrote that. We weren't there, obviously, but I mean, if you would put yourself in their shoes.
Unless we're in a simulation, then we were there, but
yeah.
You want to go there? Is that what
I don't want to go there. I don't.
No. But it's just, that's. I don't know. We're all raised on core values, and that's kind of where.
Do you think we were all raised on core values, though?
Well, no, that's what got us the spot we're in.
Yeah,
I wish we were all raised on core values.
Just in a different, I guess, different aspect of different values, or I guess what I'm thinking is we were raised right is right and wrong is wrong. But I pushed the limit. I've been in a lot of trouble.
Everyone does.
But it's just a matter of can you get back to that?
Right. And to me, I've said it a ton of times. I think it boils down to, all right, am I harming anybody else, or are they harming me?
Yeah, I like that, man. Like,
that's whatever it is. That's what to me. That's really what it comes down to.
That goes back to the laws of paternalism. That goes back to like what truly affects you. And hey, like if the decisions you make don't affect someone else, probably not an issue.
Yeah,
if
and
they do affect someone else, probably an issue.
Yeah, and I'm not talking like when I say affect, like, oh, you hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
well,
I'm not going to comment on feelings.
Yeah, like life's a motherfucker. Guess what? You're going to get your fucking feelings hurt. Sorry. But did I punch you in the face?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Did you force them to do anything they didn't want to do? No.
Right. I didn't hold a gun to your head and force you to do something or like whatever. It's like, man, like I get like I'm not the person that's going to flip somebody off and call them a motherfucker and scream at them. But if you want to do that, hey, guess what? That's your right. Whatever. Like I'll walk away from you. I don't care. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It kind of goes back to the Tyson quote. How is it? Something like social media has made everyone too comfortable with talking shit and not getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
Like,
Biting ears.
yeah, like I don't know. It's a wild world. I just want to be and I think it was I don't know if it was a quote or if I thought
About being left alone.
Yeah. Like I just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone. Like that's all I want. Like
I've noticed that, like, the older I get, because we all have our jobs but
True.
like this afternoon, I look forward. It's it's our time to just decompress, let's have a couple drinks, let's just relax, And I've turned into such a homebody over the years. I used to be like, all right, let's go here.
True.
If I could go sneak out just to have a draft beer somewhere here and there. One, like, that's my rebel is. I mean, like, that's, that's where, but other than that, I've developed into like a homebody type person.
no, I'm right there with you.
And I never really was, because we all have jobs and we travel, we go here, we go there. Obviously, Tony, you're all over the place.
All over them.
I mean, last year I worked in Ashtabula for 9 months. Drove it like every day.
That's like an hour and 40-minute drive, something like that?
Yeah, from our house, and it was like 2 hours and 10 from the shop.
Oof.
So, like, we get in the van or in the truck to go somewhere on the weekend. I'm like, my wife drives. I just don't want to drive.
Yeah.
But I just look forward to like the relaxation, being able to decompress, and I think we all need that.
Yeah.
Because other than that, you're gonna get caught.
Oh yeah.
Big time. You
Yeah.
get caught up in everything.
Yeah, and that's just, everyone's just trying to compress everything and tighten everything, twist everything up, and oof, it's a heavy world out there.
Where are we going, Tony?
Yeah, again?
Let me go grab my fucking ball cap, because this hat's just too ridiculous right now.
That's too ridiculous, he says.
It looks good, man.
It does look
I
good.
know it looks good, man, but it's just
I'm gonna- you know what I'm gonna do?
Oh,
I want to hear that shit. So
You know what I'm going to do, Tony? I'm going to switch out your microphone so you can't turn that motherfucker off. Because you always forget.
no, dude, I don't always forget it. It's off
Yeah.
right now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to switch it so you can't turn it off.
Always forget.
Watch.
Always is a goddamn bold statement, Fred.
95% of the time.
50% of the time,
Pitter paddle, let's get out of here. How much you want to bet when he sits back down, he's going to start talking to that microphone, and he's going to forget that's off. And then he's going to flip it back on.
are we gonna wait to hear the toilet flush?
I think he's serious. I think he's going to go grab a new hat. Well, when he walked in with that hat, and I was like, God damn, that's a hat and a half, bro. It looks good. It looks like a...
But he can pull it off.
No, yeah. Well, that's what I told you. I don't know if you know who, like, Sean James is. He's a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, you got some Sean, with the crazy hair and the wild man thing with this weird flat brim, like, hat.
Like I can pull some different hats off the beard. I just sometimes I just don't. I kind of stick to my comfort zone.
I just like him because a baseball cap that blocks the sun, it kind of keeps the sweat. If I'm sweating, it kind of acts like a sweatband.
Yeah, I'm bald, so I have to have a hat on all the time anyway. So it doesn't
You don't
really
have
matter.
to. You can just shave it.
Yeah, I do, but then you get sunburnt.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Let me tell you, that's a true redhead. when that sun hits, and then next thing you look like you don't even have hair and your head's peeling, like you got dandruff just going all over. It's like,
rough.
oh, it's brutal.
I do. Well, that's the thing. This is the longest my hair has probably almost ever been in my entire life because I used to just buzz it. I was a swimmer and then I played football and like long, like I don't know how these dudes do it. Their long hair and playing football, like I don't understand it. But
Like as a defensive player, like as a lineman, if I see somebody with long hair, I'm going for that long hair.
I'm like, give me a handful.
I'm gonna get me some hair,
I don't know how they do it, but like I always just kind of buzz my head, and then I always thought I was gonna be bald. By the time I was 30, because it was like my uncle, my mom's brother, who I look
Yeah.
just alike.
No, 36 and it's all gray and there ain't nothing there.
Yeah, but I thought, well, fuck, he was bald at like 27, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna be bald. So I just got used to just shaving it all, like buzzing it all, and I hit 30, and I'm like, fuck, I still got hair. Well, I guess I'll grow it, maybe. I don't know. Like, Jesus. But yeah, it's nice though because it's a baseball cap, keeps it all in control and gives me shade. Because these baby blues, they don't like too much sunlight. I get too it's like I have to wear sunglasses when I drive. Like I have to have a pair of sunglasses in my truck because it's just too bright, and these baby blues don't like that sunshine. It's just too bright. I need to protect them. They got to be protected. It is a much nicer hat.
Oh, he turned it on.
He did it on purpose. He knew. He's like, I
think he heard it. I think he heard you.
Tom the Rock and Roll. I did hear you. and go fuck yourself. That's right.
Yeah, but
still, it's another stellar hat, man.
It is
I
a
like
nice hat.
that.
Yeah. What do you think the
Rogue Tree Service ones looked really nice too. But
Yeah,
I was
Who knows, bro? I'm not privy to those.
I haven't seen
I don't
them.
know.
I just pay for them.
I haven't seen them.
Right? Same here. Same here.
What do you think the percentage is of times that you walk away from that microphone, Tony, and when you come back, you forget to flip it on? As he just pushes it again to make sure it's on.
There's a comment, Fred, that I'm going to swallow right now and not say out loud. I would say
I've heard that about you.
I'm over 50% right now. Over 50%. Fred's alluding to the fact that I use the word swallow. Because he went full homo right there.
No.
If I can say that.
Why? That's not full. It could be bi.
So you're bi? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying I'm not.
This episode
Wow.
got slightly
We
weird.
just made a turn here.
I don't know.
Josh says, chick, please.
I haven't kissed a dude lately. You got
I hope
Yeah, make that a speedy check.
it's a,
No.
yeah, sometimes, sometimes you never know. I feel like everyone. Never mind. I'm not
Nobody's
I'm not-
judging. Nobody's judging.
So basically, what's Fred? This is not. You don't need to go camping with Fred.
No, I mean, no, because
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low.
no, I don't.
Put
When you go
some
camping,
music
how
on
about
soft
this?
and slow.
I heard a. Who was it? Someone was talking. Oh, it was Glenn. When he was here, he talked about how he enjoys going out camping because he doesn't have to shower for like 4 days. I mean, he's just burned his underwear before. He's like, don't you remember him talking about that?
I do. I didn't comment on that, but
Yeah, I didn't comment on it either. But like, well, to me, like,
we're not judgmental.
maybe it's
judge.
maybe it's like
I'm not judging.
No, maybe it's like first world problems. But man,
I'm all ears.
After 2 days, dude, I need a shower.
Showers are good.
I like showers.
I get
Like,
a little refreshed from those showers.
I'll go down south, and my father-in-law has this cabin he's building with his own 2 hands, literally.
As long as you don't get a tooth infection.
Yeah. Oof. No blueprints, no nothing. He's
I mean,
been
but how many years has this cabin been going on?
at least like 12.
I know because I mean I went to school with Corey and Dustin, and they
It
started
It was
when
going
they
on
were-
then.
It was going
yeah.
then, and that's like going on 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, no, it is for sure. It's getting really close. It's beautiful. And I've gone down there. I'm like, man, like, and I tell him like he's a stubborn ass, just like my wife. But I tell him like, hey, let me know if you need help. Let me know. Like, but I got a life going on. I got things going on. Like I'm not gonna plan to come down and do nothing and just hang out. Like, if you need help with something, like we'll go down, we'll go hunting, and I'll go down. And he'd be like, no. I'm like, all right, well, what are we working on? Goddamn, we got deer to hunt. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I can only hunt deer for so many hours a day, Pops. Like, let's work on something.
Yeah, but
no.
do you think maybe he takes that as that might be his bonding time with his son-in-law a little bit?
It for sure is, but he'll also be like, I'm trying to get this fucking cabin done, and all right, well, I know you can't do all the things when you're building something like that. You can't do all of them by yourself.
I'll try one.
Yeah. Do you like these, Tony? You seem to go for these real quick.
Oh, I mean, they're colorful. I like them.
Oh, is that what just because they're colorful?
Nah,
I didn't know if
yeah.
you had them before, if it was
It's
something
like
that
a
you
crow
really
and something shiny. I just go for it.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it was like, man, like, you gotta let me know so we can like work on this thing. But regardless, he's working on getting electricity and plumbing and stuff in there now, like really close. And one of the biggest things is because it's long enough where it's hard to go down for the day. It's like almost 3 hours away. So it's hard to just go down there for the day. I'm like, man, like if we had water, I'd even be okay without electricity. But if I had running water where I could take a shower, like I would be.
That's your next vacation destination.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean-
no,
I mean,
for sure. Like,
for
we could do it on the family, like, because he's got a pond, like, doing all the things. But, like, man, if we had water and electricity, then, okay, then my daughter can, because there's only so much that they can do, especially if you're hunting or if you're actually working on something. There's only so much that they can do.
Right.
As a kid, like, after a day or two of just straight roughing it, they get bored. Like we talked about before, like the screen, like I'm not a big proponent of screens and that being a babysitter, but when you get accustomed to something after a couple of days, a kid that has those short attention spans, especially if they don't have people like kids their age to play with, like it makes it rough. But if you give me,
we're the same boat. Like, I mean, we're in the country and, Cameron's 9. We don't have neighbors or, anything like that. So where it's like, but in the other sense with all that, Wi-Fi is a powerful discipline. He took the Wi-Fi from me. Where's the Wi-Fi password? I need the Wi-Fi password. I mean, you shut that off and it's just like instant. It's crazy. Well, Mom said that you can have it. I'm like, I doubt it. I've been with your mom a long time. I guarantee she didn't say that, and we both have girls, and they're both to the age. They're 9. I think they're like 15. It gets interesting.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse. That's why I've always said, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before, but when we found out we were having a girl, everyone's like, oh, are you so nervous and scared of having a baby girl? I said, no, not at all. I'm nervous to have a teenage girl because I know that's what she's going to grow into. That makes me nervous. That's a whole different story. Like,
because yours are pretty young, aren't they?
Super young.
Yeah.
1.5, 3.5.
Yeah. See, I got a 5 and 3.5. I know what's 3.5.
Yep.
yeah.
Fucking divas.
Oh, yeah.
But I would say
Luckily,
at that
mine are
age,
boys.
I'd rather.
I
was gonna say I'd rather have at least up until so far, girls are easier than boys.
I don't know, dude. Every person I talk to, they're like, "Oh, you got kids?" I'm like, "Yep." Like, what do you got? And I'm like, "I got 2 girls." They're like, "Good luck." Good luck.
Yeah, that's
Have
what I'm
you
saying.
heard that
Like,
before,
you
John?
have to,
Oh, yeah.
good luck. Yeah, with boys.
Good
Or
luck.
I'll explain like the age and like oh, my daughter's this and that. And you go, have fun with that oldest.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about it now. I'm worried about it when she grows up.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting, especially the boys, because they're close in age. And like a couple
They
weeks
just
ago,
beat the
I
hell
put
out of
on
each
like
other constantly.
I put the Big Ten wrestling on Ohio State. And next thing they're throwing hip tossers and everything else in the basement. And I'm like, shit, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But they're always just beating up on each other, or hitting her. And then last night I got a text from her. She went to the bathroom. They decided to take their sucker stick and stick it in the candle and try to light it on fire.
Oh my
Sounds about
goodness.
right.
I said, no.
Yeah.
Fire.
There's gonna get some discipline out of this one, for sure.
Have you? I don't think you've listened to the Doing one, but he talked about he's got 4 boys, and they just found out they have a girl on the way.
Yep.
But man, he's like, dude, he told that story. It cracks me up. Even thinking about it now, he told a story. He had gone to it was California somewhere, and he found this place that sold wooden ninja swords and stuff like that, nunchucks. He his friend packed all of his clothes in his suitcase, and he just had a suitcase full of ninja toys he brought home to his boys. He said they beat the hell out of him for weeks. He's like, but it was awesome, but it hurt so bad.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. I feel bad for that their newest boy. I don't even think she's born yet, but I feel bad for her future boyfriends.
That's what I was saying.
With 4 older brothers?
She'll have the utmost protection, and
Yeah.
And somebody once told me this, and there was some truth to it. I'm not even gonna say the name of the guy that said it, and it kind of hit home for me. I just had boys, or grew up in a house of boys, and she said, "I want my oldest to be, a girl." I'm like, "Oh, why is that?" He goes, "Because if I have boys, I want them to learn to respect a female growing up." I'm like, well, there's some truth to
I can see
that.
that.
It was kind of,
honestly, I would even argue though that they might gain more respect from a younger sister as they get older.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because as they get older, they see their younger sister and go, oh, like.
But then my argument was like, well, what about their mom?
Right.
But I don't know how it is around here but my wife and my daughter, those two can argue fist and cuff. It seems like I'm just like, oh my gosh.
It's a little well, so my wife grew up in a house full of boys.
Right.
I grew up in a house full of girls. And then now I'm in a house full of girls. I'm outnumbered, even if you count, especially if you count the dog, which whatever.
Right.
But it's like it's going to be interesting as they get older, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're both stubborn, so my wife and daughter, I mean, they both are stubborn. Like, I gave up trying to win arguments with my wife years ago. It doesn't work.
It just doesn't work.
Talk to this wall. Talk to this floor.
Well, if it doesn't work, it
If
doesn't
I can't
work.
convince
Right?
if I can convince the floor, then I might be able to convince her. But no, it's all good. It's just interesting, for sure. But yeah, good luck, Tony.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like, because I've spent some time with at least one of your daughters around, and she is
Wild as hell.
wild as hell. I give
Super
her
wild.
I started calling her Stitch.
Yeah.
But Lilo and Stitch, have you ever watched that? Yeah.
So between two daughters, I have one front tooth. So typically there's 4 front teeth. I have one. I have one left.
Wow.
That's it. One front tooth.
They're wild.
Yeah, they're super wild.
I should have known the one was one because we did the birthday party for you.
Oh yeah.
You did the 1 and 3. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. By the way,
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, once again,
fantastic.
back to the barbecue.
Salud.
Delicious.
And that's like the thing we do. Like, you know, we have multiple things going, and people are like, "Oh, why don't you stay and have a beer?" Especially like, "Oh, you can stay and."
No, bro, I knew you guys were busy. That's why I brought out multiple beers, and I was like, "Hammer on, adios."
Road pops down the road.
Road pops. There you go.
So you just
There you go. I'll call the sheriffs in advance.
Yeah.
You're golden. You're golden.
Joe, it's fine.
Joe Copenhaver, you're fine.
Oh, like over the whole pandemic, you know, the cops and the sheriff's department wasn't allowed to pull anybody over. You know, they were instructed unless it was something necessary.
Yeah.
So Sheriff Scully, he calls us up. He goes,
You mean edit that out later?
"Yeah, all right, yeah."
Yeah, he said yeah.
He said, "Yep."
So at any rate, the sheriff, he maybe I better not even tell the whole story. Well, he wanted to.
Just tell it.
He
Just tell
knows.
it.
Like, you know, when we're doing that, we're drinking some beers,
Sure.
or whatever. Well, he called. He goes, I got a weird question for you. I go, what? He goes, I've got deputies like I'm trying to train. He goes, but we can't like pull anybody over. And he's actually been there at the house and had a couple
Yeah.
beers with us. He goes, would you guys care if I brought one of them by? I'm on duty and taught him how to do
That sounds like a
test, yeah.
blast.
Can I teach him how to do field sobriety?
Hammer on. Hammer on.
I'm like, well, I done failed 2 of those years ago. I don't know. And
That sounds like a blast. That should be like a training thing
So,
with the
like-
community. Like have a party, everyone stays local, and you just like, all right, like you're gonna be here for 2 hours, and I'm gonna get completely shit faced, and you're gonna just continue to do field sobriety tests on these people and
Yeah.
see who can fool
Stansbury
you.
Show actually did that with Fantone a couple
That
years
sounds
ago.
like a good time.
So like I was like, at first I'm like, yeah. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, that'd be really bad if like people are coming in to buy food and I got a sheriff sitting there watching us do, you know, it's shenanigans.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, no. And then we get back. So I tell Al about it. He goes, fuck yeah, man, bring them on. I'm like, so they were coming to get food anyways. And I'm like, well, I guess if you want to. So we're slow.
There you go.
So here they went through like
The
some
full field
I feel like
sobriety
it's like
test.
community training. You know, that's
it was.
I like that. We could
I
celebrate.
think it was the first one I ever passed. So it was good. It was good. I was for some reason for that day I was behaving a little bit there were others that we were having a good time. But yeah, so I did my part to the Wayne County Sheriff's Department, doing a little training exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Come back.
Well, they say, what is
want.
it when they do like the pen thing? Is it when you get drunk, your eyes are glitchy? Is that what it is? They're not as no. Or when you get drunk, your eyes are smooth.
No,
they're not. They're not smooth. It's a blepharospasm. So you'll start to get like that kind of just the eyes.
When you get inebriated, your eyes start
because you're trying to concentrate on it so hard, like
they skip over.
Unless you've had some serious concussions.
And then your brain's just slowed all the time. So
There
just
you go.
Like
TB.
Yeah, I've had some of those. So
Traumatic brain injuries.
I don't know if I think maybe I've had one.
I've had 3
I've never had any
concussions. Three full concussions.
I've never had any diagnosed. I've had one. I've only got knocked out. Well, by impact. I've only been knocked unconscious by impact once.
numerous times for me.
Mine's only been. I've been choked out before, a couple times.
Yeah.
But I've only been knocked out once. And that was from
Shit, like last year, 2 years ago, like I knocked myself out.
What did you do?
Oh, it was terrible. Actually, earlier this year, I damn near did it too. I took my box truck up to get fuel, and there's these little step down ladders to get up to the reefer unit. And I was already pissed because the semi pump was down, and I come up. And I got fuel, and, I put my cart in, I had the tank, and I just turned around, and that steel thing was down. Right in, noggin. I put a big goose egg, seen stars, started screaming and cussing. There was this old lady that was over there. Well, I knew who she was once. So that one was hurt, but no, I went to start my work truck like 2 years ago. And I went down the steps, they were icy. And that's I don't know, some morning, I don't put clothes on, just go out there in your underwear, wakes you up a little bit. Here I went down the steps, and I ended up underneath the truck and smacked my head on the stair, on the concrete, slid clear almost underneath the truck. And granted, I'm in my freaking Hanes through this whole ordeal, and I sat there and I almost thought I was gonna have to call for help. It straight knocked me out.
That sounds brutal.
It was. It was. I can laugh about it now.
Right, because you made it through.
Now I just go through the garage.
That sounds rough.
Yeah, it was.
Well, mine was the only time by a fellow you mentioned earlier, old Phil, playing football.
Yeah.
He cold cocked me from the side. Never saw him coming.
He was good for that.
Yeah, that was when we didn't get along so well, when we were young and dumb. But yeah, I remember waking up. I remember an impact beginning on my side. Next thing I know, one of my buddies we were playing scout. I was during practice, and he's standing over me. He's like, "Fred, wake up!" I'm like, "What the fuck just happened?"
I remember Jake Kiba yelling at you and me when I was a freshman. You were 8th grade. We'd come down and scrimmage.
Oh, yeah.
And you and me, for some reason, you spanked me on a play, and I got freaking pissed. And we started going at it way more. And then here comes Kiba, just beat the shit out of my helmet. And then afterward, I'm like, "Man, Fred, you whipped my ass."
Well, I remember that too. I remember too, when we waited, I feel like we had an agreement. We're like, all right, let's make it look like we're going hard. But,
right.
Man, this gets tiring. So
right.
As long as you we had that mutual agreement of
all of a sudden,
we're gonna pretend like we're working hard.
All of a sudden, you smoked me, man. Smacked me square in the face mask or something. And then the next thing, I was pissed. And all of a sudden, I think I had you going back. Next thing, you're throwing, I'm throwing, and next thing, here comes Kiba grabbing both their helmets, yelling at him to go back. And he's not even my coach. He's the 8th grade coach, but he knew me. He's grabbing me by the face mask, pulling me all the way back to my helmet like a freaking dog, screaming at me. And then afterwards, I went up and I'm like, "Yeah, you whipped my." I said, "Nice play, man. You whipped my ass."
I totally
we shook hands afterwards.
I feel like it was after that we're like, "Look,
yeah.
why are we going so hard?
Yeah,
because this is just for fun." So
usually it was me and my brother Dan. We would get into. We never fought. The only time we ever got into it was on the football field.
I remember seeing him hip toss you one time.
No,
Maybe it might have been at my apartment where like, because you weren't a small boy then either.
No,
And
but
I remember
he was
watching
back
Dan.
from he was back from the Navy or something.
Oh, this was before that. I remember a time before
Maybe
that
was
where
it?
like he just like literally threw you, and I'm like, oh
Yeah, my brother's not a small fry.
I've heard.
yeah. He's like, and I think he was a lot smaller than you then, but it was like, man, like, oh, this boy's like, he's got some strength. Like he just like literally chucked a 250-pound dude through
Oh, you're
the air.
nice. You're very gracious. He was 250 pounds. I was 275.
Not in high
pounds.
school.
Yeah, I graduated. I was 280 pounds.
Yeah, but I'm talking. This was like freshman.
I still was I was 250 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't small. I remember Dad growing up. He would give us boxing gloves.
Yeah.
Oh, there'd be wars.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Take it outside. I mean, I don't know if you have brothers or whatever. But man, that was the calling when you got the boxing gloves out.
Well, sometimes you just got to be able to take a hit.
Yeah, we took a lot of them. Wouldn't change it.
No, you need to know what it feels like to be punched. I think that maybe that's what we're missing.
In society,
Yeah,
yeah, they need to know what it's like to be fucking punched.
it goes back to that Tyson quote. Like sometimes you got to know what it feels like to be punched.
Punched.
Yeah, to go. Oh,
Take some accountability for that comment right there.
yeah.
Yeah, you do. Because once you take a good one once, it's like
You go. Oh.
Yeah, you don't want to be punched again.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
oh,
not
okay,
fun.
maybe I was being an asshole.
and sometimes even like delivering the punch, and like your next day, you're like,
like that was a bad idea.
Little hand, Jesus.
Yeah, that's why I learned like the.
but then I'm like, he deserved it.
It was fine.
That's good.
I was more of a chokehold guy. Like, I'd rather just put you to sleep and walk away, and then I can like walk away, and 30 seconds later I'm out of the scenario, and they wake up all pissed off.
Right.
That was my move. Just rather not have to deal with. I mean, I didn't feel like my face was all that great to begin with, so like I don't need someone fucking it up even more. Like I don't need a crooked nose and
Yeah,
stuff.
no.
Like, I don't know how those dudes, like the UFC dudes, do it. Like some of those dudes, like their faces are just destroyed.
In an hour.
He's
Hour
like,
and a half.
yeah, it's about time again. Do it. We'll do that. Another bathroom break. What do you mean disappointed in the shenanigans?
Well, we're trying to get your million views.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's one thing we've had here is we have no rules. We have no rules. It's all. It's about just a conversation. And well, we can be fluffy about it if you want, but just basically, connecting people.
I don't like fluffy.
No, it doesn't have to be fluffy like hugs and kisses and unicorns, but having a real conversation.
That's what this is. This is real conversation.
Exactly.
It's not. It's not made up. It's not.
Right. There's no there's a lot of times people come and like, well, like, are you gonna have like questions? Like no. I mean, I have some things like I said, like when you asked me before, like, well, obviously the whole, your company after, like, I want to hear about that because that's interesting.
I left out that we kicked it with Kenny.
What do you mean?
Kenny Crumpton, Fox 8, up in Berea.
You kicked it with Kenny?
I kicked it with Kenny.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was awesome. Yeah, we've been on TV and radio and like all over the place. And like I'll go, and I used to be nervous about it. Now I'm just like, what do you want to hear?
I mean, that's the thing. I think a lot of that too goes back to. I reference it a lot, and that's the antithesis of what this is social media. Everyone's so, they put on this facade, and they put on this display, and you can do that for 30-second clips at a time. You can put on the makeup, you can put on the facade, you can do the "my life is perfect," on
Google
social
kicking
media.
with Kenny after a Berea rib burn off. You might even be able.
Yeah, let's see.
I left out the small fact that we got to kick it with Kenny up in Berea. Got to hang out with him for a minute.
Yeah, but that's
A man and his meat.
that's the whole idea. Just real conversations and letting people like actually realize that like we're all fucked up. if you don't realize that you have a little fucked upness in you, you got a problem. Because if you think you're perfect, guess what? You're probably worse off than most. You know what I mean? I wonder if After Hours.
It would probably be the Berea National. That would have been
Kenny's kicking off the nuts.
the 2019 Berea National, kicking it with Kenny. But what's crazy about that, like this other dude didn't show up on time, so we actually got 2 spots, and then we actually went up into this pavilion to do tasting or whatever. Took some ribs up for him, and it was daylight. The event didn't even open that day, so we went up there, and we're up there, and all of a sudden, like this storm come blowing through, like crazy storm, and we walk out, and like half these people's towers are down.
Shit.
I'm like, holy shit. And then, not ours, it's so strong. We've had some nasty winds hit it.
Yeah, I can't find. I'll look for it.
I'll find it and send it to you.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the archive.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh, images for 2000. Yeah, we'll find it later.
We'll find it. Yeah, maybe if you find it, I'll put a link on the description and shit so people can find it.
He's a character, like the whole time, like even when you're
Kicking it with Kenny.
even when like he's off there, like he's walking around and he's like talking to you, but then he walks off and he gets in his own. He's talking to himself, like trying to figure out exactly how to say everything. and
He's
stuff.
just constantly talking to himself.
Oh yeah, he's a talker. Good dude. I mean, stellar. It was fun.
I think it's a lot. If you, people say like never meet your heroes and never meet these people, like whether it be famous people or like news people, and when you meet them, they're like, oh shit, like that's just a person, like it's just a dude or a chick with problems and fucked up shit, just like I got. Like they'll say stupid stuff, like just to be able to get rid of all that nonsensical bullshit that came with the TV, Tony. Remember we talked about that when you asked the question, when do you think our culture changed?
But I guess I have a question. Like, it seems like when you ask questions pretty deep, do people still have heroes? Do people like still really look up? Or is that kind of a, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing because, like, I feel like when we were growing up, it was like you had these iconic figures that you were always
Right.
looking up to. I don't know. Maybe that's I don't know. Is that a bad thing or a good thing, though?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I mean, it's just, do I have a bunch, I have, I don't know if I would call them heroes, just people that I really look up to. I guess that would be a hero, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the
But you know what I'm
terminology.
saying?
Yeah, and it's so weird. I'll say this. As weird as this is for me to say, because this person, for me, it's about the time frame and about the
But there's a
about
quote.
the context.
There's a quote, and it's from a simple movie, The Sandlot. Hey, hear me out here.
I know, I'm listening. I just love it. I like where
Heroes
this is
get
going.
remembered.
Serious.
Legends never die. So, like, I mean, like these people that do we consider them heroes or do you consider them legends?
Oof. God damn, bringing it full on fucking deep on
I was
us.
gonna say, well, I heard some of the other stuff that you guys had on your podcast. I'm like, thank God I wasn't here to get that asked that question. I'm like, that's the whole thing all week. I'm like, please don't ask that or whatever.
Yeah. I think, and this might be completely off from, this is completely different than everything we've talked about so far. But I think I have a recent hero that I've found, and as cliche as it feels. So like, even if it sounds like it and it feels like it to me as well, but Rogan has been a hero for me in the last year.
He's a very respectable individual because he's always stuck to himself. You know what I'm saying? He's never let anybody else dictate or.
For the most part, I think that he does. I think sometimes he does kind of change the way he phrases things to be a little PC, which I get. I totally get a person in his position has to kind of say things a certain way, like sometimes. But
Those are delicious. Thank you, Tony, for the selection.
yeah, he's always good for a selection, for sure. But I think he's one of those people that hasn't backed down to something he said. Like if he says it, like there's very, very few things where he's ever been like, "Hey, I fucked that up. I didn't mean that." Like, or like I was misinformed. But like most of the time when he talks about his opinion and like the things, like especially when it comes to, and we've kind of touched on this before, is the transgender sports. Like he stands behind that. And he's like, no, like I've seen fucking dudes and women fight. If you like, there's a very, very clear distinction of a man's build typically and a woman's build. So to tell, like he's very adamant about, like, because he's involved with the UFC and everything else, we're like, if you think you can put a born male into the ring with a born female, on average, like the dude's gonna fuck her up.
Yeah.
Their frames, their strengths, like they're just born differently. So like, and I give him props for sticking by those things that like, yeah, like we need that. Like, and just somebody that's like, look, like I'm not like, because he's always very good about being gracious towards everybody, but he still stands by the things that like, no, like he's not going to like kowtow to wokeism. And I think I think maybe
And even the women that he's talking about can whip like
whoop my ass.
80% of like all men, 90% of women. But
yeah, no, yeah, like you put me in a ring
like that. No,
you put me in a, like I feel like I'm a fairly capable man.
Yeah,
I'm fairly strong and quick and all those things. But you put me in a ring with Ronda Rousey, guess what? She's gonna whoop the fuck out of me.
right.
But
Right.
at the same time, like we had, I don't know if you know Mike Manchek at all. If you listen to that episode, we talked to him. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, black
I think
belt.
that's actually like next on. Like I'm actually like going down.
You're going backwards.
Next on the list.
I'm going
Yeah,
down.
we'll start his because
Fucking Mike Manchek.
We split his into 2 episodes.
Yeah,
So you have to start
yeah,
for the
it's
first
part
one.
1, part 2.
But like he's probably like 165 pounds, smaller guy. But you know what? Knowing what he knows, he'd whoop my ass.
Yeah.
Just because like those people are. But if you put the typical male versus the typical female, they're just, the male is stronger, bigger. And guess what? One's got a dick and one's got a vagina.
right.
So like for this like charade of like, oh, males and females are biologically the same.
Oh, Corey, seen the Snapchat. He said you look terrible. By the way,
Wait, with the hat?
Tell him to go fuck himself, bro.
I said that because I figured that's what you would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I said, "Where's our hats?"
Yeah.
Where's our-
No, you know why he says that? It's because he's jealous.
Yeah.
He's jealous.
He's jealous. But no, that's what I like about Rogan is that he like stands behind things that actually make sense instead of just that. So I would say that's I think heroes can change and adjust as you find your way through life.
Right.
Do you have any
Like-
heroes? Who are your heroes, Josh?
That's the thing. I don't know whether obviously you have your father, and then there's been different guys that I've been in the oil and gas industry for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And there's different. I've learned from a lot of different guys. I guess the biggest thing was the leadership role on how to treat people
Yeah.
and how to like present stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys, like I'm like, you want to inspire to be directly like. I mean, I had a really good foreman, and he actually passed away, and I kind of took his. And that hurt me because he was like another father figure to me. Sure. Like, did some different things, and so I guess I don't know if there's so much they're heroes. they're just people I admire.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then so I use the term admire, I guess, a little bit more. And then
That makes sense.
And then, obviously, my dad, before he passed, he was he was, that's always going to be for me. But
He's a good dude.
And then, but there's been a lot of dudes that, they taught me to treat people, how to treat people.
Yeah.
Especially to be like a leader and, not to stab people in the back. And that's the problem with a lot of people.
Just don't be shitty.
Yeah. A lot of people, they just want to, they would rather put you down or something than see you succeed, because they're worried if it's their insecurities or what. But
no, yeah, for sure.
But to me, there's a lot of men out there and women that I've admired.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like ultimate hero, I mean, not really. It's just, to me, other than, my father that brought me into this world.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice of him.
And yeah, yeah, and then he's been gone for a while. But
he was I mean, I didn't know him super well, but the interactions I've had with him, were extremely.
He just taught us to be, I guess, without getting emotional about it before he passed. And I even put a thing on Facebook, like the day that, he passed. Walk around with your hand not open to take, but walk around with that hand open to help.
Yeah.
To, give, or, like you're talking about, you want to help your father-in-law, like how you help, your patients and stuff. And you can tell, I'm sure, the ones that it's easier probably for you to help the ones that want help. Yeah. As like the ones that my family want. Now I'm here because, this person or whatever.
Sure.
So I guess the biggest thing he instilled was, go around and help. You can hold your hand out, but don't hold it out for a take.
Hold it out for a give.
To give.
Yeah.
And that's the same with like these supervisors and stuff that I had. Oris Hosteller. I mean, I really admire the dude. We don't have to cut his name out. And he retired, and it was like one of the first guys that ever I knew that really retired. And it was almost like when he left, it felt like a piece of me. It was like, because we called him the slave driver. He would come down, we're doing 712s or 612s. It's Saturday, like 5 o'clock. And we're kind of like trying to sneak out. Dude, that dude would be there like, well, we should do this. And you couldn't tell the guy no. He was one of those dudes you just could not tell no. But he always presented himself in a very respectful manner.
Right.
To where he wasn't like the yelling foreman, because you don't respond to that. People don't.
No.
I mean,
True.
Yeah, I'm a grown ass man. Fucking talk to me like one.
Right.
Don't scream at me.
And that's how, like, even Big Jesse, even though there's days I could tell he was just fucking irate or whatever, or I wasn't doing things. But at the end of the day, like, we got a job done, and they taught me patience.
Phew, that's a hard one.
And it is.
That's a hard one,
especially when when you're running jobs, running crews.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys know what that's about.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. You can sit there and get all worked up and get anxiety because they're not doing things the way you should think that they're doing it. But at the end of the day, the job still gets done.
Right.
And that's where I'm like, my hat will boil. My bald head will boil sometimes. But at the end of the day, things get done. And then if you take that at work, then you can bring it home. And you can try to instill some of that in your home too. It works. But as far as like a hero, I don't really have a hero. And then even like, professionals and people that I think a lot of people, celebrities and whatnot, I think some of them abuse their platforms.
Oh, I think most of them abuse it. You know what?
And then our kids are listening to it, and I just think it drives me up the wall. It just does. But
they're so out of touch. I think Man. I have, a personal, here, whatever we're going to call it, hero, or, someone that I've admired for years. And I think you'll relate to this one really well. Sam Sayre.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You were one of Sam's boys.
I was, and it was, and I had posted something about him and I saw that he had passed. And I don't think for
mine was Bill Hardman. He went like 2 years ago.
fucking Hardman, man. He was I always liked him.
Unless you're one of his boys, he was an asshole.
See, I never saw him as an asshole, but he wasn't my, direct coach, but Sam was a coach for me, during football and different things, but he did a lot of extra things he didn't have to do. And that's what hit me.
That's what pissed me off in the school. I kept fucking him over on everything.
Yeah. But it really hit me even as a high school kid. He was my individual position coach or whatever. So people can understand who he was to me. He coached me in football as a position coach, as a defensive end. But it wasn't any of that. It was what he did outside of what he had to do. I don't think I've ever even mentioned the story or even kind of talked about it, but from the time I was 17 as a junior, transitioning from that junior to senior year, in high school, playing football, I was working full-time second shift and going to school. And side story that I won't get into, but I wasn't able to play my junior year on the field, but I still, because the principal was whatever. Long story. We'll skip that.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even allowed to play in the games, but I wanted to come to practice and I wanted to do the things. And Sam he showed up outside of school. I would work until 9 o'clock at night. And then he would show up at the school, unlock the weight room, and train with me. He would train me 3 nights a week.
Him and Jeff Carr. I mean, Jeff, he was kind of there with him too.
Yeah, for sure. But
how's that jerky, Tony?
It's gone.
Fantastic.
So listen, yeah, but for someone he had no ties to me. I didn't know him at all. But he just said, "Hey,
that's how all his athletes were."
Yeah, he saw potential. He said, "You know what? I believe in you." And as a 17-year-old kid working second shift, trying to do the school thing and the football thing and try and be in whatever. But he believed in me and he showed up and even when all the other coaches were talking shit about me or whatever, he was there and he supported me. And it was man, that was one of the first times in my life that I'd gone through something and saw a guy, just believe in me and do something
a good
like
one.
that.
And Sam Sayre was a stellar dude.
And the more and more stories I hear about him, people just
staple in the community.
Yeah, and it just, and I never, my biggest struggle was I never was able to go back to him and be you know what, because I didn't play football my senior year because I had to work, I had bills to pay, and all the other coaches wrote me off, but the things that he did for me at that point, obviously still damn near 20 years later, he was a huge impact in my life.
And he knows that, and he knows that about, and not just you. He was that way with everybody.
He's just a good fucking dude.
He was the shot and disc coach, the girls and stuff. I mean, he would film it. He put in. I mean,
yeah. Because I did
hours. Hell, he coached football the last couple years, didn't even get paid.
Yeah, that was the only reason I did track.
Food to the school.
Yeah.
Seller, dude.
Yeah. It's just to people like that they never get the credit. They don't they're not making millions of dollars, making fucking music videos fucking Cardi B talking her fucking horse shit.
And that's trash. It's trash that our kids are fucking listening to.
And those are the people that they look up to instead of people that are actually doing something.
Fucking trash.
It just, man, I don't know.
Me and Fred have been doing a lot of talking here, Tony. What would you?
Who's Tony's heroes?
This hero, or I don't. I guess I didn't mean to, but that quote. I mean, just from Sandlot. And that's a kid's. I mean, but if you think about it, for a kid's movie to throw that in there, you know, it's kind of, I don't know. It was just odd. But there's nothing but truth to that.
Yeah, maybe we need more of that.
Now you want to watch Sandlot tonight? I know.
You need some more truth in our movie. So who's Tony's heroes?
Funky butt loving, bro.
Did he just say funky butt loving?
Did you just say funky butt loving?
What was that? That wasn't Angels in the Outfield. Was it Angels in the Outfield?
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. That's right. That was close.
There you go. There you go.
Who are Tony's heroes?
My heroes are my grandpa.
I could see
That's
that.
solid.
You talk a lot about your grandpa.
Yeah, he was, man. He was my hero. So that was a dude that he didn't thrive on the success of himself. He thrived on the success of other people. If he could perpetuate the success of other people, he knew that he had succeeded.
That's how my dad was.
Yeah.
He was just...
Dude, that's next level right there. It is. It truly is.
Good damn, you guys are getting all sentimental on me.
Nah, there's no sentimental here.
What do you mean there's no sentiment? You're talking about your fucking grandpa. Of course there's sentiment.
Oh, mine was too, until like, you know, they decided that they were going to live their retirement life and went to Florida. And
Yeah.
after that, I didn't have grandpa, you know, and then, yeah, he was too. Those fond memories and the things that they, you know, instilled. Yeah.
True. Yeah. So my grandpa didn't go to Florida. My grandma died about 5 years ago, and my grandpa, he just kept on keeping on. So
Yeah, he is. He's an ornery motherfucker.
he's
too.
super ornery, bro. He's super ornery.
Well, I'll say this, and I probably even shouldn't say this, but
Say it, brother.
no,
Say it.
and I don't say this to be whatever, but
No, I won't judge it as that. So.
no, I know that. But just so everyone knows, kind of goes back to like I would say things to you that I wouldn't say to other people.
True.
But you know, and we say things to people that we
Yeah,
wouldn't.
I mean, dude,
Whatever.
we're brothers. So
Yeah, but I really appreciate the relationship that people have with their grandpas and their grandmas and stuff because
true.
I grew up. I have one grandma that's alive, and that's the only one I've ever known. Like I never had a grandpa. Barely had a dad. Like I know him. Like
Sure.
you know.
True.
So like it. I don't know. I live kind of vicariously through some of those relationships of people where they're like they talk about like because I've heard in personal off-air conversations. Tony, obviously we talked about. I know your grandpa. He's
a beast.
ornery motherfucker, but
Super ornery.
he's
Super
super
ornery.
fun,
Super
intelligent, but great. Like, you know, I think we just need more fucking old people to be an example for young people. You know what I mean?
So, dude, let me ask you this: why do you think we need more old people?
I think we need more strong old people to pass along things and not. You know what I mean? I think that's because the youth obviously you grow up. And maybe it kind of ties into what we talked about with the whole screen babysitting thing. Like, there's a time and a place for that. I get it. You know, it's the same thing as where I look at it as an equivalent to when I was a kid, we would go out on our bikes with
Sure.
our friends and just
True.
destroy shit and do stupid stuff. Like, stuff that I still remember that I probably could have gotten in a lot of trouble for.
Yeah,
but at the
stuff
same
that
time,
we're not
like,
going to put on a podcast.
right. But like, but
Yeah,
even
been there.
not quite that extravagant stuff. But at the same time, like it was
yeah, it's not
parents,
extravagant.
you know. But at the same time, parents back then were go fucking, you know. A lot of times we say like people our age or now, like especially, I think we're at the age where we've seen a giant transformation in the population because of technology. Because when we were younger, there weren't cell phones and, you know, video games like they are now. Like there was video games.
What are you talking about,
and
man? I
stuff.
took the Apple typing class on the Apple PC.
Yeah, and it was all yellow and black.
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, but you know what
Black
I mean? Like
and yellow.
there's
Black and yellow.
Black
Yeah.
and yellow.
going hard in the paint. But there's a difference now. I think that our generation is that the generation below us doesn't see. Because it's a different world now. You know what I mean? Like it's a completely different world than, our generation and our parents' generation, I think, is right where everything started to transition because TV came along and, the internet. Oh, gee, like I remember still like my buddies at my house.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was paying for an apartment that like had dial-up internet, try looking up porn on the dial-up internet.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's so terrible. And then the next thing,
Mid-stroke, it just starts buffering. Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
yeah. So like, there's a lot of change there, but going all the way back through that, like, man, you need some people to still have some kind of semblance of, hey, we had a hard fucking life. There's some struggles here.
I was eyeing that. I see you eyeing it too.
I got some sticks over here if you want these.
George, you want this?
No.
I got some. These are
good.
tasty.
Jess, you want this?
No. Your meat's in your hand.
Yeah.
You should probably take it.
You already touched
No.
it.
You should probably take it.
I'm gonna go the stick route. I'm good.
Take it.
That's what I thought. It is good jerky.
That was phenomenal. Obviously, Tony just ate a whole damn bag. How many pounds was that?
Don't worry about it.
But I think that's
It's only
why.
half pound. He's good.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
It's
Yeah.
all right.
But I think that's why we need old people. I think we
wish
need
I'd
old.
have bought some ribs for you guys, but we didn't have any.
It's okay.
It's all
We would
right.
have thrown them in the oven. They'd been done by about now.
Man, it'd be
It's
tasty.
all right. It's all right.
But yeah, that's why I think we need old people that struggled. We need reminders of the struggles.
I think we
that
just
are
need
much
kids
more
that
than-
listen to them, and like I think that's our job as parents
Right.
going right now is to reinstill these, some of this stuff.
Life's not always fucking cupcakes and unicorns.
No, it's not. You guys ever watch Disney Plus?
Nope.
I gotta get
Canceled it.
Oh, you canceled
I
it?
never even had it, but if I did have it, I would cancel it.
I think I have it.
I would cancel it just from that.
Yeah,
was it
like
the
when our
Gina.
kids-
I think I have it.
Like, I don't know why I just said that, but yeah, our kids like we just watch nothing but like Disney Plus and like old school, like those movies like when I was growing up. The old Jonathan Taylor or whatever.
Jonathan
JT?
Taylor Thomas.
JTT?
JTT.
JTT. He's in some of those.
He was a specimen, huh? Sorry.
But like even that, like Friday nights growing up, what did you do? TGIF Friday, man.
Yeah.
TGI
man.
Fridays.
Step by step.
Oh
Day
yeah.
by. Yeah, but now what about that whole?
Family Matters.
Yeah.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was on there for a little bit.
I didn't watch that one. But I watched Family. That was with Carl Winslow, right? Or Steve Urkel.
It was Steve Urkel. You're
Yeah,
talking
Carl
Fresh
Winslow.
Prince of Bel-Air.
No.
Yes.
Carl Winslow was the dad in Family Matters with Steve Urkel. He was the cop.
He
always
was the cop.
He always wanted to beat up Steve Urkel. Carl Winslow. Not Carl.
Carl Winslow's hosting like AFE now. He was the brother.
What?
What is his name?
No. I'm telling you. That wasn't the guy's name. It
No,
was the
that's
actor.
Afonso Riviera or whatever. He's yeah.
Yeah, Carl Winslow, Family Matter. He was the dad. Yeah.
Hey, you guys.
Yeah, Carl Winslow. He was a badass. There's something I wanted to say to that. I can't remember what it was now. I don't know. I can't remember what it was now. But he was a good dude. I like Carl Winslow. Some of the shows. But now it's just all fucking garbage. No, that's what it was. This is the Disney Plus thing. Didn't you hear about their canceling that chick off The Mandalorian?
Gina Carano.
Yeah.
Like she's hot.
No. 'cause
Watch out for Pablo. Old Pablo.
Old Pop.
No.
Are you talking about the other dude?
Yeah,
Made basically
100%.
essentially that made parallel comments,
Yeah.
but was not
Yeah.
canceled. I don't know. It's honestly it's so weird because I find myself for the longest time I struggled to get away from like the Republican side of things,
Yep.
and I find myself continually getting pushed that direction. It's like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just a different direction. And maybe not just Republican, but
Why
different.
do you feel yourself getting pushed that direction, Fredo?
Oh, because because it's like, man, this whole rigmarole of everything going on is just.
Does it have to do
ridiculous.
with the Constitution?
Yeah,
That was a bold statement you made earlier.
it was.
That was very bold, and I liked it.
Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
know.
the Constitution's Constitution.
I mean, no, maybe it's who was it? Who was it that called us libertarians? Somebody. Was that a conversation that I was having with you? Somebody was like,
It's a
man,
fucking possibility.
somebody was like, man, you guys sound like a bunch of fucking No, maybe it was someone else I was having a conversation
And
with.
so we're going to high five because we're libertarians?
Yeah, someone was like, man,
Sign
you,
us
get,
up.
you,
Yeah,
you sound
we're
awfully
libertarians.
like libertarian.
Yeah,
And I was like,
and-
you know what?
Is there a problem with that? Is there a fucking problem with that?
I kind of.
I'm buying you 2 shirts. I already have one that says like it's got a libertarian on the back. It's a badass shirt. Like everywhere I wear it, it's
just
like
pulling the spines out, right?
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that
it's
was
just it's just like a center because I mean I have a billboard. Anything I put on, everyone's like, "You want to buy a shirt?" I said, "Well, if you want to advertise, just give me a shirt."
Are you double XL?
Pitter patter.
2X tall or 3XL.
Man, I was saying I got a double XL shirt that might. I might have to get it.
I mean, I like rocking the baby gap look.
No,
every
I don't know.
now and again.
I got a double XL Chronic Curiosity shirt for you.
All right, yeah.
We'll see if it does. If it doesn't fit, we'll get you. We'll get you one that does.
If nothing else, Carolyn likes them. He's
He's
going to switch hats.
switch hats again.
No,
He turned the mic off again.
turned the
See?
mic off.
Now you can't hear him. God damn it, Tony.
No, this is a blast. I hope your followers don't get all upset.
For what?
It's a good time. I like your
Oh.
boots too, Tony.
They are nice boots. She's got nice boots.
I feel like I need to go to the Roadhouse.
Kicking faces in. He was terrible at
Kick
karate.
the dust up.
As good of a dancer as Patrick Swayze is, he's not a fighter. You can tell
No.
he didn't have good moves. And
No, but he did have
he had nice boots.
he had nice boots and he had a knife in the front of him.
Oh, he's got great hair.
He does
he
have
did
great
have
hair. Yeah.
Fantastic hair.
I even was watching like The Ranch with what's his name?
Ashton Kutcher?
Yes, but
I haven't watched it. I just know the show.
I'm not like a big name guy.
Me either.
He was the
other.
other bouncer in Roadhouse. I can't remember what his name, but it was all. He still played the tough guy. Samuel Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott. Oh yeah, he was a badass. He played in a couple. Oh man, what else did he play in? Because he played in a couple shows.
But it was really good until in the series Rooster, which was hold on, leave that there. Go back to the Ranch Cast.
Oh, sorry. Oh, where'd my mouse go? I was looking at what Sam Elliott played in. He was a badass. He was kind of like a modern day Clint Eastwood.
Oh, just sexy old man.
Yeah. It's the mustache.
I think so. Everybody gets down on a good mustache.
Yeah, and I can't. For what I cannot.
Oh, there he
I'm
pulled him out.
jealous of it.
He's not even on it.
I can't grow a mustache. I wish I could.
What do you mean? Yeah, I saw a mustache.
No, it's not.
I just trim mine up this big.
It's not like a.
Once your drink starts sticking to it, you gotta get rid of it. You know, that's another thing I miss: concerts. Last year, I just asked Tony to play Cody Jinks. We snuck into we actually managed to go see him. What a stellar show, man!
Yeah.
Good performer. It was.
I've never been a huge like big concert guy.
And they're not. They're
But like I like the small venues, man. Like we went. I mean, I've been going to more concerts like up until 2020.
put you on a spot. First concert,
First concert?
legit concert. Ooh. Not Wayne County Fair shit.
No. Yeah. It definitely wasn't Tony and his guitar. I can tell you that. First legit concert. was probably Linkin Park,
Ooh.
Snoop Dogg, Korn,
Oh. Yeah, what was that tour
and
called?
I think it was like Less Than Jake and somebody else played.
Yeah.
I think it was like Project Revolutions or something like that.
Yeah.
It was so weird to watch. Like they had a couple, like I think Less Than Jake started, and then there was one other band that maybe they used, but then Korn comes out.
Korn's a stellar show.
They have good energy, and then like
Tool's another phenomenal.
I've never seen Tool, but like it was funny. Korn was like, hey, like the guy was like, never thought I'd say this, but welcome to the stage, Snoop Dogg. And then Snoop Dogg played, and then after Snoop Dogg was Linkin Park, and it was pretty crazy. Linkin Park puts on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I never
Put on a hell of a show.
How about you, Tone? What was your first
Concert?
major concert?
The old first major concert was Static X.
Ooh.
Powerman 5000.
Ooh. Fucking Rager.
Yeah, come push in.
Oh, man.
Wow.
How many drugs were you on?
Don't worry about that, Fred.
Enough.
Don't worry about that. I was 13 years old.
Oh.
Not enough.
Just hammer on. Just hammer on.
Not enough.
Yeah.
Static X and
fucking
Powerman
hammer on.
5000's a hell of it.
It literally was a hell of a concert.
I
It's
bet.
fan-fucking-tastic.
How about yours?
Fan-fucking-tastic.
Mr. Josh? What was your favorite? What was your first concert?
First real concert was Green Day opening up for Blink-182.
Shit.
Oh, I like me some Blink-182.
And Save the Day was the opening act. Up at Blossom.
What's my name again?
Hey, man. It was cool. Fairly, give me an ice cube there, buddy.
Absolutely.
I don't need
one?
Yeah, one or two. Throw them in there. I'm digging these cups.
Yeah, my Cass got me those, like little mountain ridges.
Yeah, so it was, is this one I need to try next?
Yeah, that's what you need to try next. The Buffalo Trace.
Oh, the Buffalo Trace is delicious.
I do like Buffalo Trace.
Yeah,
But,
that's good.
No,
Who doesn't like Buffalo Trace?
we were in the, we actually were in the pavilion, and it was like pouring rain.
I've never been in the pavilion at Blossom.
And somehow, me and my buddy Justin Cheater.
Cheetah.
Fucking fathead, whatever you call him.
Huh.
Hell, I was the best man. He was one. He was best. Just dumbass.
You know, the biggest thing, I'll say this real quick about Sheeter. I don't think he's probably ever going to hear this. But
I'm gonna send it to him.
as much of an asshole as he wanted to be, it always seemed like he really wanted to be a nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
but he just had to like pretend to be an asshole for some reason.
Yeah, he had short fat man syndrome. So, but no, him and Heather are doing really good. They got a little pizza shop and shit going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I haven't seen him in years, but it was one of those. He was always one of those people. I'm like, man, like I know you're being an asshole, but there's just something there that like
Yeah,
I can tell you
Yeah, I can
really
see
want to
through
be
you.
a nice guy.
So like we come out of this concert and here like we kind of heard the rain on that whole hill was soaked.
Oh, that's how the Korn concert, and it was just a mess.
And then here's all these nurses in like white outfits and all this shit just wet, muddy, wet t-shirts running all around. Here we're 16 years old. Yeah, it was good. It was a crazy time.
Blossom's a good venue. I've seen.
Other
handful
than
of
the
concerts.
fucking walk.
I don't. Yeah, I don't mind the walk. It's all right.
Bullshit. Fuck that walk.
Sobers you up a little bit. I don't mind it. I think the last time I was at Blossom, I almost had to get into a fight. Not get into like, but stop. This dude was just super hammered. Like the grass, you know, the field spot in Blossom, it's like it's all sloped, you know. And this dude was just like stumbling around everywhere, and he ended up like pushing this chick, and I literally was like, I started taking a step forward, getting ready to like just choke this guy out, and somebody beat me to it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I don't have to do this, because he started getting aggressive with this girl, and it was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to choke this guy out. But somebody beat me to it.
I never was like into like fighting or anything until when I lived in Cincinnati. I ended up being a bouncer at a bar down there for a little while. And, like, it wasn't something you, like, pride yourself off of, but when you have some drunk dude that, like, spits in your face, that's...
Sometimes you got choke slam some people.
That's it. I mean, that's...
Well, yeah, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight at all, but, like, it was
hate
like when I
fighting.
saw
I'm a teddy bear. Ask my wife, and you guys all know me. Like, I'm the biggest, yeah, we do businesses on forum, but I'm, like, deep down, like, I'm a big teddy bear. I just... I want things to go smooth. I want this and that, but I'm all about the good time. I don't want drama. I that's the biggest thing. I don't know, but some people thrive off of that drama.
Sure.
Man,
I
don't know
cannot.
how they do it.
I don't know why or how they thrive off of that.
It sounds so stressful to me. But that's how I don't want to fight.
I don't know. I was all stressed out about coming to this podcast all
Why?
week. So.
You were stressed out? Why? What made you stressed?
I didn't sleep last night. I'm like, I don't know what to say. Don't remember my line. No,
I don't remember my lines.
Actually, I called you last night to maybe get a little bit of a, because I know you said something, but you want to talk about a little bit of oil and gas. Not that I necessarily wanted to talk about it, but I know you're in the pipeline deal. Yeah, and see, and like people are, I get a lot of phone calls like right now about
The
you didn't just do that.
The yawn?
Yeah, you just did.
I yawned?
Yeah, you just did.
You're going to judge me for yawning?
Tony's a
now
yawner.
we're all gonna be yawning. But sidetrack. That was a good big yawn.
It's like a lion.
I'm gonna yawn here in a minute, but
Jesus. Focus.
a lot of people like call me like, "Oh, are you worried about this Biden, this and that?" Like, I directly am not. I know a lot of people. All right, not a lot, but I know some guys that are up there. They're doing jobs in Minnesota.
Sure.
Jesus.
And
He blocks it.
a really good friend of mine, Jordy Nossing, they're doing a job in Minnesota. It's a
Knopfsinger?
yeah,
Yeah.
good. He's good stick.
I know Jordy.
Yeah, simple. So I call him Simple Jordy.
Simple
Good dude. He's a good dude. He's
Yeah.
a good dude.
And he comes out and he's up there. He sent me a Snapchat. He had damn near frostbite on his toes. His toes were purple the other day. I'm like, it's -25. They're trying to get their automated welders and all that other stuff. Now the Keystone did get shut down,
Right.
And majority. I tried to look it up, but the main railroad up there out of Canada was a big supporter for Biden.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Like $54 million sponsor for Biden. So I don't know if that like directly correlates with it, but as an industry standard now with the pipelines and people just think, oh, fracking this and that.
Right.
It is so strict on what we do. Like all our stuff is on, we do all Dominion work or, some other local outfits. But the standard, the EPA, the environmental, I mean, this stuff's crazy. You're putting stuff back nicer than when you left it.
Right.
And you're not burning up, like solar panels and all that stuff. Once they put those out, all that ground's done. That's all it is. It's done. So pipelines are obviously, John D. Rockefeller, he knew what he was doing years ago. If you watch that Made in America or whatever, he is a staple for that. But what it's doing is, okay, yeah, it's going to hurt the railroad, but like as far as the safety aspect and everything else that we do, and how things have to get put back in, every weld, like they weld these joints together. They're all 100% X-rayed. They're all coated. We use epoxy, 2-part epoxy coating. We have welding inspectors. They're X-rayed. They are, we have NACE 3s. Everything, the pipe is all, we call it, it's a Jeep. You run it across there and any anomaly or dysfunction will beep, and you have to repair that. So like if there's a nick in the fusion bond epoxy, so this stuff's guaranteed for life, and it's X52. This shit's harder than hell.
Right.
You're not going to. It's real hard pipe.
Right. So just, I think since we're on it, to kind of explain it as far as, because this is another piece of the thing that what we're trying to do is kind of bring conversations that, you know, whether it be like when we talk about politics and stuff or different things or, you know, kind of making it make sense to normal people. So from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, or, you know, or you see it differently or anything like that, but, you know, people think pipelines and they think, oh, these are such bad things, or fracking and all these different things. Well, as a very broad spectrum, a kind of umbrella, you know, general statement, you know, we use gas, we use natural gas, you know, we oil and all the things in our cars. And like, so these things are happening, period. Like you drive, unless you have, even if you have an electric car, where do you get that power from? Oh, the outlet. All right. Well, what feeds the outlet? Well, a power plant and electrical company. That's doing
Obama
what?
shut down the coal industry,
right?
And it takes gas burners to power.
Yeah, so even powering your electrical vehicle, you are using either gas, coal, or nuclear power.
Right.
Nuclear power. I don't. You made fun of me last time I said nuclear, Tony. I know you're about falling asleep over there. I don't know why.
So I'm not falling asleep. I don't think I made a funny either. Zero made funny there.
No, I mean you said something about the way
there may have been a comment because
you and Steve made
Mr. America on the old nuclear, but I didn't make fun either.
Okay, whatever. Okay, but either way, so people don't understand where all this stuff comes from. So like the part with the gas line being shut down, they think that's going to make it greener. Well, if we still need the same amount of oil or gas, then we have to use the railroad or trucking companies. And what do those things use? Combustion power, which burns fossil fuels or whatever it is to create, you know, and to move these things instead of using just a pipeline that's welded together like you're talking about. So there's no free lunch.
And, you know, and nice things like with you know, like we did a bunch of Williams or Access midstream work. And I even tried to get Corey, you know, I tried to hook him up with Mike Pizzoli. I tried to get you guys in there.
Sure.
And I'm still working on that. But, you know, so you're generating like, all right, you got your tree clearing guys that come in first. You got your right-of-ways that are staked out and made first. Yes, it does look like a mess for a minute. When we strip all the topsoil off, throw it to the side, and then we run our line, you know, all this stuff is hydro tested, pressure tested, way above the exceeded limits it's going to travel in it. And even like fracking, it's such a strict ordeal for this. And my whole thing is like, you have to have, you know, this wet oil and stuff. The natural gas is a byproduct off of it. Right. So if you're heating your gas with what are you heating your house with? Unless you're heating your house with wood, solely wood, you need us.
True.
You need this. You need this pipeline. And like these pipelines, when they create these, in the long run, that simulates and it trickles down to as a cost-efficient ordeal because you're just shipping it in there. And that's what I do. I do a bunch of like transfer regulator stations and stuff like that. Or we'll do compressor stations. It comes so far, and then you got to boot it back up to get it. You know, I've worked on the Rocky Mountain and a couple other different big ones. But you have to have this. And I don't understand why they shut it down. Everybody's like, oh, you're going through this, our native land. When we're done, it's 100%. It's what it is.
Right. There's just a pipe under the ground now.
It's just a pipe under the ground. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some variations. Some people don't put things back, but
yeah, I think it's a lot of misunderstanding. I think is what it kind of boils down to. See, did you take a nap?
No, I didn't take a fucking nap.
He's like,
Jesus Christ.
We're getting bored.
I know.
We're getting bored.
No, but yeah, I think, like you said, I think it's just a lot of misunderstanding.
It's a very good thing, and it's very regulated. It's government regulated, and like when people are like, we do Dominion PIR jobs. These are government funded jobs that we're replacing lines from the 50s. We're replacing all these, putting new industry standards in is what we're doing. So it's a very one. It has to happen to shut stuff down like that. That's just
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Maybe not out of nowhere, but just abruptly.
And they'll say like, oh yeah, okay, we just you just cost like 5,000 jobs or whatever for this line. It doesn't take 5,000 people to operate that when it does, but the true pipeline guys to go around and do like that stuff. They know they're hopping. A good friend of mine, Cliff Wilson, he was on the dual 42. And they get slow. Then he went to Texas. Now he's up in Minnesota. And it's just those guys know the nature of their business.
They're moving.
Like those big projects like that. To where me, I don't really travel. I don't just stay in a camper. I don't live in a camper.
Right.
Or anything like that. But what we do is we're contracted for Dominion, and you have to have that. And
Right.
people that are against this stuff, do us a favor. Go out and turn your gas off.
Yeah.
Just go out and do it. Even your electric car. Even actually, there's an article, the new COVID vaccines. Well, in order to make the dry ice, you have to have, it's a byproduct of wet gas. That's in dry ice.
Right.
So everything's coming from that.
Yeah.
And that's where I don't understand people, are so against it. Yeah, it looks like you make a mess, you tear it up. And some contractors don't put stuff back the way they should. Hold their feet to the fire and get it put
Right.
back.
I think it all comes back down to just, there's just so much that people they see this face value, they see what the news is telling them, or they see what this person's telling them to think and tell them, like, hey, this is bad, fracking's bad, like, these are the negative aspects of it. Okay, yeah, there are negatives to it, but
In the end,
what's
it's more,
what's
you want an
all
oil
of the
spill that's going
aspects?
to be a catastrophe and do this and that. But it all comes back. I remember actually seeing you and Corey. We were doing a job down in Carrollton.
Oh.
And you guys were following the chopper around.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a trailer. You guys were following the chopper like on the power
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, it's the same thing with electricity. Like, you know what? Like, people have these power lines that go through the yards, this, that, whatever. It's like, okay. Do you have a freezer? Do you have an air conditioner?
No, we're
Guess-
Amish. We wait for the pond to freeze.
Right, and then we just
we got our ice house.
right, and then we just
We're good to go.
Yeah, but then we'll take someone's van to go buy groceries at the Walmarts. Like, so I guess my point to all that is like really look and try to understand where all your stuff really comes from before making a judgment on gas lines or electrical lines or like all these different things. Like people all, if you're that green, then you should be living in a tent out in the middle of the woods, hunting your own or gathering your own food.
And like these
Let me know
things
how that
are,
works
these
out
things
for
are
you.
constantly maintained. They're on. I mean, everything's maintained.
Yeah.
And like even for you guys is like, what you guys do, like the tree it's unreal, but they maintain all that. It's just like a power line right away. But you can go like if we run across farmers' fields, that pipe's 6 foot down there.
True.
You're not touching it
Yeah.
unless you're an idiot. And then besides that, even if you hit it, you're not going to dent it because it's all
You better have a
320.
giant excavator. to
Yeah,
even
you're,
attempt.
no, you're not. It's all 322 and above wall.
Yeah, you'd have to try, essentially.
You'd have to try really hard.
Yeah. And then maybe that's what people are doing. They're just trying to, I don't know. I don't know what people are doing anymore. Trying to be fucking ridiculous.
They just want an argument to argue.
They just want an argument. Yeah.
How about you, Tony? What any good discussions you want to bring up?
With regard to?
Anything?
You move it around a lot over there. Are you okay? You're like,
I really like that hat.
it is a nice hat. The Texas. He's talked about moving there.
Oh, Texas. I have not talked about moving.
Yes, you have.
Certain.
Have you not talked about moving to Texas?
Certain human beings have talked about moving there.
You being one of them.
Certain human beings have talked about moving there.
Do you have like an alter ego or something that talks about it?
Maybe I do.
Yeah, what the fuck is that supposed to
Do you want to meet that alter ego tonight?
I don't think so.
Do you want to meet that alter ego tonight?
No.
I don't know. Is he as nice as you?
Yeah, is he nice?
He's a dirty motherfucker.
Ooh.
Oh.
On that
He's
note.
a dirty motherfucker.
On that note.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably
Well,
not.
I'll tell you what, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
and
yeah,
I-
it was anytime, man. I would love to come back.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
mean,
a good
like I said,
time.
we're over 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
It flies by.
It does.
I
was thinking about it, and like I seen like someone when I go to like start, I'm like, dude, this thing's like 3.5 hours long.
you don't have to listen to it all at once. There's a pause button, you know?
Oh, I hit pause when I get out and take a leak or something, but like like I used to run like machines like nonstop when we do the big. I just would be like clear right of ways or just dig ditch. So I'm in my own world like a lot of time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have something, I don't know about you guys, but your mind can race. You can think of 1,000 different things if you're in your own.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if your own mind. So I always have to have something to keep me kind of like.
Well, that's the point. Like one of the biggest reasons that I just started this because I lived out of my truck because I was supervising crews and I would drive and I was in my
do the
truck
same
all day
thing.
long, and it's like, man, after a while, I can't listen to the radio anymore because they play the same 5 songs. So then I started listening to talk shows and it was like, okay, like that's
You
fine.
can't listen to like Pandora because it's gonna replay everything.
Yeah. So like eventually,
even Sirius satellite radio.
yeah. So like, man, it was like, I just really enjoy listening to discussions between different people and hearing wild ridiculousness one day. And then next day you're hearing, some crazy, intelligent, scientists talk about fucking quantum physics. And it's like, it's almost like when you're sitting there, you're driving down the road or you're cleaning your house or whatever, you don't feel alone.
No,
you can just. It feels like you're sitting part of a conversation. So that's what it's all about.
No, I appreciate both of you guys. You guys are brothers to me. You guys are brothers of the business, and I appreciate all the support we've gotten from you throughout the years.
Appreciate you, amigo.
Yeah. So where can people find you? Or
we're gonna get our license renewed here 1st of March, and I think we're gonna fire up, do a couple weekend carryouts on Saturdays. Fridays is too much, just because we'd have to. But we're gonna do some Saturday, and then hopefully things kick off. I mean, just you gotta check the Facebook. Don't look at the website. I can't post like our venues on website just because if we're trying to schedule 2 shows, somebody will look on there and see your schedule, and then they'll see that you're somewhere else, and they don't know you have 2 rigs.
Gotcha.
And they're like, well, I'm not going to let them cancel on somebody else.
True story.
Well, that was a hard lesson to learn.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we lost Harnsfield the 1 year for that. So, but yeah, just follow the Facebook After Hours BBQ. We do have our full catering menu and everything on afterhoursbbq.com. Feel free to reach out to me or Al. Our numbers are all both on there. Our emails are there. Once you reach out, we quickly respond back to you, and we're there for you. We're there to make your day, and just to make things as easy as possible for you. Very cost efficient, and obviously I'm going to say I got the best product in the state of Ohio.
Right.
And I
And it's
firmly
tasty.
believe I do. And I wouldn't keep doing it if I didn't. And I wouldn't keep putting the effort in if I didn't. That's my thing. Right. And I love the, the small caterings, the birthday party, somebody's having you in for their 1-year birthday party. We've done a lot of them. To me that's cool because one, nobody wants to mess with the cooking and everything else.
All right.
And two, I'm giving a badass product for a reasonable price.
True.
I'm not gouging nobody. I'm not, I would pay my prices.
Right.
And then some of the other times, we even thought about getting people come in and do some of our stuff. I'm like, I know what this shit costs now. And there's some business. Hey, good for everybody. Like Sam and his son Brian, with Village Catering, they've flourished.
Yep.
Good for them. I mean, I like to see other companies succeed. I'm not one that be like badmouth somebody.
Right.
I don't want somebody badmouth me, so I'm not going to badmouth anybody else.
True.
So any business that comes my way, I mean, I love, and your day is your day. I mean, and even, I shouldn't say this, but even like, cancer benefits and stuff like that we donate to. And I know Corey had talked about, you get my daughter, you get to see After Hours BBQ on the back for shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Orville with Al, I mean, we have signs on the.
Yeah. Well, it's being able to support local causes.
Oh, yeah.
And we give back a lot. I mean, we support the people that support us.
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
Yep.
But no, to you too, I appreciate it. It's been a great time.
Thank you, Josh.
The bourbon's fantastic.
Yeah. Always is.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Time to turn the mics off, and then we'll get into our real discussions.
Well, thanks, man. Jack, I appreciate discussion and After Hours BBQ to support local businesses.
Thank you.
Thank
Hell
you
yeah.
guys.